Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with Andrew Velez and Joel Dehls, and this is now episode 130. In this episode, we are going to debate if the Chiefs are back, Patriots Super Bowl chances, if the Packers have the best defense, if Jalen Hurts can be a franchise quarterback, and more. A quick Patreon shout out to Anthony, BJ, PJs, Mario, Langston, Jazzy Juice, Johannes, Ruben, Brian, Ricky, E, Enzo, Sean Solis, Sean Muffins, John, Sean Triplet, Burner Hoops, Court Cousins, Ben Mack, P. George, Hikari, Mateen, Dave 2 Freedom, and Jay.
Good old Jay, man. That's the boy right there.
It's to the point that I had to keep adding applauses. Usually Jay ends on the last applause, but we have two new Patreons, Anthony and BJ. Shout out to you guys, man.
What is it, BJ's, PJ's?
No, it's BJ is one of them, and Anthony's another one, and PJ's is his own person.
So you just put the BJ,
so
PJ.
PJ's and BJ are two different people.
All right.
Yeah. So before we start the podcast, I want to read this Instagram message that we got because it was very touching. I am very it touched my soul. It was really nice. This is from Max. His at name is Max Moore _180. What's up, Joel, Riv, and Andrew? This is Max from Dublin, Ireland. I love the show. I'm going to subscribe to the Patreon soon. Just trying to save up for the holiday. And that right there, I was like, that means a lot. That means a lot that you cool. Actually think about saving up to be on our Patreon to donate to us. Like, that just is heartwarming. Just letting you know you have support across the pond. Keep it up, guys. Hashtag 'em up the Rockets. And by the way, I know it's a long shot, but you guys always have a roof over your head if you're ever in Ireland.
That's tough.
I pick this side. Hashtag Harden over Booker. This very heartwarming message touched my heart a lot. So thank you to Max for that message, and thank you to all you guys that support and listen, because this has grown tremendously over the past couple of months, even like over the last year it's grown. Definitely. We're almost at 10K subs. We're 1K away from it. We have 40,000 on TikTok. Our Instagram, it seems like it's growing at a rapid pace now, so it's kind of surreal, you know. And I'm just glad that we have so much support, and we have a very tight-knit, loyal fan base. Definitely. And people that really like us for us and love our takes and agree with some of ours, or some don't. And I just released the intro beat on YouTube.
You did everyone a favor.
Yeah, I just released it. Yeah, I had a lot. There was a lot of comments. They liked it a lot. Somebody called me Jay Dilla.
Jay Dilla is one of the finest compliments you can get for music.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up to him when I was making beats, you know, so he's one of the greatest of all time.
Rest in peace.
You know, Jay Dilla, Donuts. But yeah, I thought it was right. I had to do it for the culture. I had to release it for the culture. It was good. You have your Seton Hall gear because I know they upset Michigan.
That's you, Cray.
Huge game last night.
I have a Seton Hall shirt under this sweater.
I was fake today.
Yeah, no Seton Hall gear. That was one of the biggest wins Seton Hall has had ever.
Yeah, like, I think they've had a little bit bigger than that.
Bro, going into Ann Arbor, being the number 4 team in the country.
Beating Villanova to win.
Yeah, the Big East champs, definitely. But still, bro, like going in and being number 4, like we're going to be ranked next week easily. We're going to be maybe like 20.
I'll be forgetting you went to Seton Hall.
Yeah, man. Yeah. 2 years. I did my time.
Let's take that.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. How indulged do you feel in a school there?
At Seton Hall, I really wasn't that indulged because I really am not that type of guy. I focused on school, and that was really my main priority.
I saw Drew on campus maybe like 5 times.
Yeah. I went to school, went to class, went home. That's
how about you? Were you all about that school spirit? Let's go Pirates and stuff?
I went to plenty of games. Like I lived on campus my junior and senior year, so I went to plenty of games, but like I wasn't really involved in clubs and all like that.
You know, I don't think I'm that type of person that is super go-lucky about schools, because I know there's a lot of fans that it's the college and that they root for. That's them. For me, I don't know why. I just can't get invested.
Bro, but our basketball team is good almost every year.
Now, our basketball team is definitely
it's easy to get invested into.
Yeah, when your team's good, for sure.
It's different. I think what I'm saying is that I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a super fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's funny. I went to Seton Hall games my freshman year when I didn't go to Seton Hall, and my senior year when I didn't go to Seton Hall. Sophomore and junior year, I did not go to a single game.
Like, the way I root for the Jets, Knicks, if I watch their games, I'm up on my seat. If it's a close game, I'm up on my seat. I'm like, I'm at the game, I'm screaming, I'm this. I can't imagine myself doing that for Seton Hall.
It's something about just college sports that it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's different, especially when you're at the game. Being at a Seton Hall game,
oh
especially
my
if
God,
you're in the fan
so
section,
different in
it's
Prudential.
crazy, bro.
In Prudential,
it's
the
crazy.
vibes are different.
Yeah, because it's such like a big small arena. Like if that makes any
I know
sense,
what you're saying.
you know, like
no,
it's
they get rowdy.
yeah,
in
like
Prudential.
it's not huge, but like you're all like so close to the court when you're in the student section that like it just feels like you guys are all together. It gets so crazy there.
Man, that's what's up. I gotta go.
No,
we're going to the Texas game on the 9th for my birthday. Just pull up. Texas is like the December 9th.
Oh, December 9th.
November 9th pass, King.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Texas,
time is flying.
Texas is like, I think, 8th?
Something like that.
Something like that. It's going to be a good game.
Okay, that's what's up. I'm a def tune in. I'm a def go. I got to get the season tickets. I haven't gotten them.
That is a come up also.
The student ones are nuts. It's $100. You go to every game and get your money back.
I told you that. I told you that.
I haven't even bought them yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's too late now, isn't it?
I think it's probably over now.
3 games passed already.
No, 2. 2-0. They're 2-0.
We are.
That's
3-0.
3-0.
Oh, is it? I could have swore I looked today and there was 2-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
Because our first 2 games were against like FDU and I'm blanking on the other one. But
we about to be ranked?
Yeah, probably.
That is
definitely
lit.
after this win. Yeah, top 25 for sure.
Because I know we were unranked looking at it yesterday.
Yeah.
What were they? 3?
4, I think.
That's insane.
3 or 4, something like that. But nuts. Yeah, on the road too.
Oh man.
So let's get into this football episode. It's going to be an all-football episode. You guys know the deal.
Yep.
The first episode of the week is football. Friday is basketball. And I see the comments about the Mavericks and how we were wrong about them. We'll have a topic about them, no doubt. You know, we'll talk about them. I think this week's basketball show is going to be really great.
Definitely.
But let's get into football. I think the biggest headline of the week was Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. After Drew had said Justin Herbert is better than Mahomes, you know, Mahomes took that personally. 406 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Chiefs beat the Raiders 41-14. And, I mean, are the Chiefs back? That's really the question. Do you believe in this team? They can now make a run? Are they still the same team that everybody thinks they were early in the season? What's your opinion on it? I'll start with you, Joe.
I think it's important to remember that, especially if you look back at like the Patriots dynasty run, right? We're already putting the Chiefs in this tier that they're going to go down as one of the best teams ever, a dynasty and all of this. Like, we have to be somewhat realistic here, right? Like, the Chiefs aren't going to have 10 straight years, be perfect. They're going to have bad months. They're going to have bad weeks. I remember a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we were talking about, can the Chiefs defense turn it around? And I was one of them like, yeah, I think with Steve Spagnuolo and a veteran defense, eventually they're going to figure it out. Now, I don't know if they're 100% back yet, because you look at their last few games, they played home against the Giants, home against the Packers with Jordan Love, and this Raiders win was probably their most impressive win since week 1 against the Browns, coming back and having a vintage Chiefs game where they're down at halftime and you see Mahomes do Mahomes things. But they dominated the Raiders. I mean, they doubled them in first downs. They were perfect on 4th down, held the Raiders 1-9 on 3rd down, and a few things really stood out to me. One was their offensive line. I think that their interior offensive line with Creed Humphrey, Tooney, and Trey Smith, their 6th-round pick, is probably the best in the league. Now, they have to do some work, especially at right tackle. Even though Max Crosby didn't put up crazy numbers, the right tackle was getting beat all game. I want to say he gave up 6, maybe 9 pressures, 6 pressures. So even though Andrew Wiley, he didn't give up any sacks, Max Crosby was getting to the quarterback, getting to Mahomes. Orlando Brown had a really solid game as well. But not only the offensive line, their running game. You know, Darrell Williams, who I'll be honest, I thought me and Drew talked about this off the show probably last week or over the weekend. We're like, he's okay. You know, he's a below average running back, but we all think Clyde is better. But Darrell Williams had a really nice game, especially in the passing game, having over 100 yards, that crazy catch for the touchdown. You know, he really was able to break tackles in the screen game too. And more or less, the Chiefs did what we asked. You know, on offense, they took those screens. They had a lot of checkdowns, drag routes to Tyreek Hill. But they did take a couple, down the field shots. Kelsey had a few big plays as well. Looked like vintage Kelsey there. It's going to be interesting to see, though, once Clyde comes back, how they're going to, really treat this offense, because he wasn't really a bell cow, I would say, but he was getting the majority of the work. But overall, I think the Chiefs, they have the Cowboys this week. This is going to be the big test. But right now, I'm leaning towards the Chiefs are going to be back. They're going to be fine. Just because you have 1 or 2 bad months, they're right back in first place.
Yeah, this is definitely a step in the right direction, a great step in the right direction. Obviously, you have Mahomes throwing for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's exactly what every single Chiefs fan wanted to see from him, especially after these 3 mediocre weeks. Now, what I was very, very emphatic on was them getting the running back involved. I thought Clyde would play last week. He ended up being a scratch. Darrell Williams came in. And he did exactly what I was hoping that the Chiefs would do. Start feeding the running back. Start letting the running back open up the field for you. Because if you are the Chiefs and you're taking these checks out consistently, it allows the defense, or it takes away the defense's ability to cheat on that deep ball. And now that if they're going to consistently take these checkdowns, it's not going to allow the defense to cheat. And now they're going to be able to pick and choose when they take it over the top. Now, there was one specifically where Mahomes just missed Tyreek on a bomb, just overthrew him a tad. But regardless of that, Kelce was clicking. Tyreek and him were clicking. Tyreek's route running, that first touchdown that he had, he absolutely burnt him. Tyreek Hill, obviously he gets a majority of his credit for being the fastest player in the NFL, but regardless of that, his route running has been very good this season. And I just think that this needs to continue. They need to continue to feed the running back, and I want to see it once Clyde gets back. You didn't waste a first-round pick on Clyde for him to be a split, be in a split backfield, especially with Darrell Williams. That being said, 9 receptions out of Darrell Williams, over 100 yards receiving. Clyde's
never done that.
Not once in his career. Obviously, we've seen the rushing abilities from Clyde, but we saw it in college. Where was he most effective? Out of the passing game as well. If obviously him and Mahomes being arguably the best quarterback in the league, can get on that same page and start being effective like that, obviously we'll start to see Tyreek Hill get open more downfield. We'll start to see Travis Kelce get open more than he already is. But I think that obviously this is a step in the right direction. Are they back? I'm not ready to say they're back, obviously, because the Raiders had a few opportunities that they squandered. That over the top to Deshaun Jackson should have been a big play. That was a fumble. Better play from the defender, of course. That being said, got to hold on to the ball. And Derek Carr being sloppy. That ball over the middle of the field, I get it that he got his arm swatted, but that was ugly. And then it happened again. So you never like to see that. But regardless of that, Raiders squandered some opportunities, and this game got ugly very, very fast. And that's what happens when the Chiefs are clicking on all cylinders. That offense can just throw up 20 points like that. But definitely a step in the right direction. I want to see next week what they do against Dallas. If they continue to see the running back, let him be one of the main focal points in the offense, I think they could be back.
So now he's arguably the best quarterback.
He is still arguably the best quarterback. Even when we said, stop it, because even when we were talking, we said, who are the 3? Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers.
That's what I said.
I said.
That's not what you said.
In starting a team.
You said you might, no, when we're talking about who's the best quarterback.
Right now.
You were like, come on, dude.
Right now, obviously, Mahomes is. You don't get paid $500 million and you're a scrub. Like I know the game of football better than that. That being said,
Herbert
had been outperforming Mahomes, and that's simple. And if you're saying that's wrong,
I still don't think it's insane to say you prefer Herbert over Mahomes. Herbert could do everything Mahomes can do. Let's be honest.
He can.
I don't know.
He hasn't won the chip yet, but
I don't know about that.
He's a little bit smarter.
He's also bigger.
All right.
I think he's a better athlete.
All right.
It's all giddy over
I want to start off with the Raiders first.
Fair enough.
I just think they're being affected right now by everything that's gone on.
Fair.
And you can see it in this losing skid. I usually wouldn't take so much, I wouldn't be so happy about them losing. But the fact that I'm happy about them losing is because I recently went on my YouTube channel to check the comments, and I had made this video about the AFC West and my predictions. I had the Chiefs 1, Chargers 2, Broncos 3, and Raiders 4. And somebody commented this like 2 weeks ago that, oh, look at what you did now. Oh, you were so wrong. You better make a video about this and explain how wrong you were. And now 2 weeks later, it's the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. And I still predict the Raiders will probably finish last just because I think so many things have affected them. You know, you have Rich Bisaccia in there as a head coach, and I'm not very high on him. John Gruden, you know, he got canned. Henry Ruggs, he got arrested. And there was just still holes on that roster that needed to be fixed. And Derek Carr, if he doesn't throw for 300 yards, the Raiders lose. It's a statistic. They are winless in games where he does not throw for 300 yards. So he has to carry that team. And last episode, I said the Raiders are going to probably win the AFC West. A little bit too optimistic there. Probably going to be wrong about that. But the Chiefs just look like a different team right now. 3-game winning streak. They're 6-4. Like you mentioned, Giants, Packers, Jordan Love, Packers, not even Aaron Rodgers, Packers, and the Giants.
Aaron Rodgers plays, I think it's a completely different game.
And the Giants, we know they're not that good. But I kind of feel like if they would have faced them earlier in the season, they would have put up points on the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have finally started to click defensively, and I think holding the Raiders to 14 points is an accomplishment. People forget this, but in 2019, the year that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they had a bottom 20 defense at this point of the year. It wasn't until at this point in the second half of the season they finished off as a second-ranked defense and seventh in the totality of the season. But in the second half of the season, they were the second-ranked defense. And Chris Jones has come back to form. These last 4 games, he has 18 pressures, tied for 6th, 21.6% pass rush win rate, which is 6th in the NFL right now. And Jarron Reed had a heck of a game against the Raiders as well. And we, Chiefs fans have been hoping for him to kind of come into his own. You're right. That interior of the offensive line is amazing. Andrew Wiley's not that good. Lucas Niang is hurt right now, so when he comes back, that'll get better. I just think, even though I think the Chiefs are somewhat back. I'm not fully invested because I think there's still holes on the roster. They don't have a second receiver, and I mean a wide receiver, not Kelsey and Hill.
Yeah.
They don't have a second wide receiver. Josh Gordon has not been good. McCole Hardman, he's been a disappointment. And the running game, Darrell Williams, he had a fantastic performance, but do I really expect him to do that? I really don't. And I think it was an anomaly, to be honest. And even though Mahomes had this perfect game statistically, 5 touchdowns, 406 yards, there were like 2-3 picks I counted that were dropped.
Yep.
And that's what I told you guys. Like, him having these picks this year weren't that surprising to me because over the last couple of seasons, his interceptions have been dropped. Whether it's, he's snapping the ball early and it's an offsides and he just takes, or whatever play, he just risks it. But his interceptions get dropped. I think he's still a bit too careless with the ball. His mechanics aren't all the way there. And this Sunday, a big test against the Cowboys. I think if they beat the Cowboys, I'm all in. They're officially back. If they can beat Dallas, they're officially back. But right now, I'm kind of like halfway there. I do think they'll finish number 1 in the AFC West. I think they'll finish 1 in the division. They'll win their division. But I don't know if they're contenders because I look at what the Patriots are doing, and I'm kind of bought in on them.
If I'm the Patriots, we're going to be talking about the Patriots later, but the Chiefs are going to be a scary team in the playoffs, regardless, because they're going to get in, regardless if they win the division or possibly a wild card. But going on the road against a division team and winning by 30, I don't really care how it's done. Like, that's impressive nonetheless. Yep. And this offense, as long as it keeps clicking, and I know what you're saying about a second receiver, about the running game, but when have they had a second receiver? When have they had a running game?
Sammy Watkins.
But Watkins was never... Like, he had
a great Super Bowl. He had a really good Super Bowl. That was really about it.
He was on the field, but he was never productive. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was on the field, and he was a player that at least you could respect, but Sammy Watkins was never this productive wide receiver that you're counting on. He's better than McCole Hardman, Byron Pringle, Demarcus Robinson, sure, but I don't think that second wide receiver, while they need an upgrade, I don't think that's why they've been struggling.
I mean, key word, though, they respect him. I don't think defenses respect McCole Hardman. I don't think they respect Pringle.
Do you need a second receiver when you have Travis Kelce, who is basically a wide receiver 1?
Yes.
Do you need it?
Yes.
You don't need it.
You would like one. You don't need one.
You would like it. You don't need it.
Yes, you do. I'll give you an example. San Francisco.
Brandon Ayuk?
Well, let's just say they had Kittle and just Debo. Their offense didn't start taking off until Ayuk got more involved.
I mean, they've been hurt. I understand what you're saying. Rough example because they haven't all been in at the same time except for this past week.
Ayuk was also in the doghouse.
Yeah, but we've seen their offense with Kittle and
Debo, and it's amazing. They
individually are very productive. The offense doesn't get going as much. We saw San Fran take a turn when Ayuk was more involved. But before that, when it was Debo and Kittle and the third receiver, like Sherfield, Mohamed Sanu.
We're talking way back, though. We're talking way back.
The 49ers right now, when Debo wasn't getting touches, it was Debo, Sanu, and Sherfield.
But yeah, because Kittle's been hurt all year.
Yeah, but when he's played too, their offense hasn't been that productive.
The last 2 games, they've looked really good.
Yeah, because Ayuk is being more involved now.
So is Kittle. Kittle had 100 yards his first game back, and he had 15 a touchdown.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's harder for teams to game plan against 3 terrific players. Tyreek is phenomenal.
I don't think they're game planning for
Kelsey-
Ayuk.
It's different though,
Kelsey is
because
phenomenal.
you're game planning for the Chiefs against Kelsey and Hill, yes, but you're game planning against Mahomes. It's different when it's Jimmy G, Debo, and Kittle. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if
Mahomes is
they're-
a whole different world when it comes
That's a
to comparing him
fact,
to
too.
Jimmy G.
You do game plan for Mahomes, but the reason why defenses have been successful against Kansas City was that too high safety
Yeah,
look.
Tampa Bay
100%.
put out the
But
blueprint.
that too high safety look, that's not to stop Mahomes. That's to stop Tyreek Hill. That's a blueprint against Tyreek Hill.
But
The offense.
doesn't that feed more into the fact they need to start feeding the running back? We see it week one of them starting to feed the running
That's
back.
a different question than having a second receiver.
But it's not necessarily an essential part of the offense that they need.
Yeah, it is because they're not a
'Cause
running
they have,
team.
but Clyde could make them not a running team, but a more running back more
We
focused.
have to stop thinking Clyde is some every
I'm not
down.
saying that. I'm not. But he's good. He's good enough that obviously Darrell Williams can have success. Why can't
They
Clyde?
treat
one
Clyde
game.
a lot like how
It's been more than one game that he's been serviceable.
they
Darryl,
They
go
treat
ahead.
Clyde a lot like how Philly treats Miles Sanders.
For
I think
sure.
we all agree Clyde and Miles Sanders better than Jordan Howard and Darrell Williams.
That's by far.
But for whatever reason, the coaching staff, or I don't know if it's Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni, but even when the past regimes with Doug Peterson, they didn't trust Miles Sanders. He would get, you would see all these stats on PFF when it comes to big time runs, 20-yard rushes, one of the fastest running backs in the NFL. But Miles Sanders would get 10 carries a game. And we see Jordan Howard get involved, Boston Scott get involved, and be effective, especially in the red zone. Jordan Howard has 3 or 4 touchdowns over the last couple of weeks. We see the same thing now. Darrell Williams, he was really played really well in the blocking game too, which Andy Reid's not going to just overlook because that's one area where Clyde struggles. He's a small running back. He can't pick up blocks like Darrell Williams can, who's 6 foot, 220. Clyde's a lot smaller of a player. I just don't think Clyde's going to come back and Darrell Williams is going to disappear. Darrell Williams is going to be involved, and maybe it's best if they have some sort of a timeshare, which they have been doing in the past. To start off the year and last year, Darrell Williams was in a lot of third down situations, but again, that's a lot because of pass blocking.
Yeah, but I think you made a lot of good points there, but maybe there's a reason they don't trust Miles Sanders. I know analytically he looks all great. He looks like a darling, but he makes a lot of boneheaded mental mistakes.
He struggled with the drops a lot last year, but his first year in the league, he was really good, especially out of the backfield. Last year I thought it was a bit of an anomaly, and this year again, even when he has been playing, bro, there's been times where he gets 8 carries. We've seen games of 2 carries for 15 yards, and we're like, what's going on here?
You can say that, but Philly has had 5 straight games of 100 yards plus rushing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it hasn't been with Sanders.
No, I agree, 100%.
But Jalen Hurts also plays a part into that as well. Unless you're talking strictly running back, that's different.
Even with running backs, though, they've all been phenomenal.
But it's just they're getting Jordan Howard seeing 17 touches last week.
They're the second best rushing team in the
Miles
NFL.
Sanders, I think week 1 touched 15. He's never touched 17.
15, 17.
Yeah.
That was week 1.
He had 15 carries, 13, 2,
go.
7, 11, 9, 6.
That's insanity.
I don't know.
That makes no sense.
I would say it's insanity because the definition of insanity is doing something it's doing something over and over again, even when it fails. Right now,
But it doesn't fail.
Week 1, he averaged 5 a carry.
Right now, Philly isn't failing. They're the second best rushing team in the NFL.
It's going to be exciting to see. Miles Sanders should come back this week. He just got activated off the IR.
So I would
it'll be
agree with
interesting.
you if okay, we're not using Miles Sanders and our run game isn't going. And I'd be like, okay, then maybe we should involve Sanders if our run game isn't going.
Was it going when Miles Sanders was playing, in your opinion? I don't believe so.
Week 1, they looked
They
phenomenal.
looked excellent week 1.
That was Atlanta.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. And in the last 5 games, they have been on another level rushing.
For sure.
Hasn't been with Sanders.
Because Sanders been out.
Okay, but it's just showing you that without him, they are still tremendously successful.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, obviously, you've seen that you have success when you're actually using the running back. They weren't using the running back.
It's one thing if Miles Sanders is getting 16 carries and he's averaging 3 a carry.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, and it would be different because then his numbers wouldn't be as good, but they're having success without him. And ultimately, I don't know if they'd be having more success with him. With him, are they the best rushing team in the NFL? Are they better than
think
I'm
he's
not
more
Cleveland?
explosive.
I'm just saying he's better. That's
I think
all
he's
I'm
more
saying.
explosive than Jordan Howard.
Like
He
right
has
now,
a
the
better
Eagles are
probability to-
the Eagles are the second best rushing team in the entire NFL.
That helps when you have a rushing quarterback, though.
100%.
The Ravens were the number
for
1
sure.
year after year after year.
For sure. It helps when you have a rushing quarterback, but it's also been because of Boston Scott. It's been because of Jordan Howard. It's been because of Kenneth Gainwell. That trio, they have all been amazing in different aspects.
Yeah. Jordan Howard's been great as a rusher, and they've been using really Boston Scott more. I thought Kenny Gainwell was going to get a lot more work, especially being a rookie, but Boston Scott's really taking that over. It's probably the coaching staff probably trusts him more. He's a vet.
And ultimately, this conversation strayed away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't view Clyde Edwards-Helaire as a workhorse back.
The Chiefs screwed up.
They did.
They took him over Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins.
Well, Jonathan Taylor was obviously a better player than Clyde Edwards-Helaire in college.
They should have known that on draft day, truthfully.
Well, Mahomes wanted Clyde.
But based off what happened in that college football playoff, Clyde was an absolute freak of nature. What he was doing was scary, running through people, carrying bodies, just yards and yards down the field. I understand the pick at the time, but it wasn't the safest pick.
Clyde has no big playability. That's one of his biggest issues with me.
They took Clyde because he fits their passing scheme more than they wanted to run
sure
the
we
ball.
thought, but he can't pass block.
And Jonathan Taylor is just as good of a pass catcher as he was too.
For sure.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I know the Chiefs have to run, and that's what ultimately is going to get them out. It's gonna stop defenses from showing too high safety looks if they run the ball and are effective.
They need to do that every game.
But we have to recognize that the Chiefs' bread and butter is passing the ball. And if you only have two threats that can catch, it is very easy to hone in on them and take them out the game or make it very difficult and have Mahomes force a ball to Hardman or Pringle versus when you have a guy like Sammy, because even though Sammy's not some fantastic receiver, he's still a good receiver. And he's a wide receiver too. You know, he's not a 1, but he's a 2, and they respected him more, and the Chiefs had a lot of success last year with that.
It's tough to say. I mean, I feel like Sammy really wasn't the best. Do me fair. I was going
to say, I'm looking at it right now. He only played 10 games, but 37 catches for 420 yards. Demarcus Robinson and McCole Hardman both had more yards and receptions.
Go to the Super Bowl year.
2019?
Yes. Because that's the only way that I can understand your argument is if he had over 700 or 800 yards.
He's 52 for 673, 3 touchdowns.
It's like,
how many games though?
13.
Okay.
14.
So 16 games, he's getting 700.
He missed 2.
Yeah, so he's getting 700, 800.
I guess, but that's just Sammy Watkins. When could you really ever rely on him?
Yeah, he was healthy for the playoffs.
He had a huge week 1 that year, I remember. I think
he had probably 40 points, 3 touchdowns.
He went crazy week 1. So if you take just weeks 2 to 16, 17, whenever, he missed a few games, you were probably looking at like 20, 30 yards a game.
Yeah, I'm not saying Sammy's fantastic, but he's definitely way better than McCole.
That's tough. He's better than McCole, yes.
Yeah,
but
way better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins barely is doing anything on the Ravens.
No, barely anything is nice. He's being nice. He's done nothing.
Bateman has come back.
And that's lit, but it's just what you got to expect at Sammy Watkins at this point. Did they need Sammy Watkins? No. Was he a great fill-in player for them? Yes. Do I think that Pringle and McCole could do the bare minimum for them to still have success as long as they continue to feed the running back? Yes, because you have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
The issue isn't Chiefs players getting open. 1, it's been their defense has been terrible, and 2, Mahomes has been terrible decisions. It's not because they, we just don't have enough weapons. Sammy Watkins doesn't walk into this team and everything's fixed. They're Super Bowl favorites. It's over. Would you say?
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
their defense right now is on a roll, and that's why they're ultimately. We're talking about them being back. They're only allowing 12 points per game. I'm not saying that Sammy fixes their problems, but I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire does, and that's what you guys were implying.
No, they need to. What I'm saying ultimately is you don't need the the second wide receiver because you have Hill and you have Kelce. That's ultimately the main point.
I think you need a wide receiver too to maximize
but
the
Kelce
offense.
is that wide receiver too. Who's really a wide receiver 1?
Yeah.
He's a tight end. And I know he's
who is better than a lot of wide receivers.
Well, he lines up as a receiver just as much as a tight end.
There's no doubt, but it's 2 players you can key in on them. You can key in on.
He's listed as a tight end, but he's a receiver. Kyle Pitts is the same way. Kyle Pitts has like 80% of his snaps at wide receiver. He's just listed as tight end.
Look at the Rams. I mean, you got Cooper Kupp and you have, Robert Woods, rest in peace. But now you got Odell. Did you think you really need more than those 2 guys?
Yes. Their offense was struggling.
I mean, Darrell Henderson's been stellar. So, I mean, you looked at the Rams. I'm sure I'm not the only person that thought, okay, this Rams team is good enough to win a Super Bowl with just Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Rest in peace.
Because of this ACL.
Yeah, but I think after the bye week they have, Odell is going to be much more. What do you play? 15 snaps, 20
Yeah,
snaps.
he'll be much more.
No, he's gonna get his volume up. Of course.
The reason why the Rams went out and got Odell is because they understood we need another dynamic to this offense. We saw them versus Tennessee. They didn't get anything going, Cooper or Woods. Yeah. They needed another guy. When you only have two guys, and if they're both off their game, if the game plan against them is terrific, you need somebody else to step up. And that's why the Rams got Odell, because they wanted somebody else to step up in those type of games. And the Chiefs, in games where defenses have game plan for them great, they haven't had that third receiver to step up.
But even the Rams Super Bowl year, they had two weapons. They had Gurley, but by the Super Bowl, Gurley was toast. He was not playing well.
It's the difference between like receiving weapons and a running back, because Todd Gurley was an MVP that year. Yeah. You know, an MVP candidate.
He fell off though, bro. He fell off in the playoffs.
No, he fell off, but they still had success because their team was built off of West Coast offensive scheme, of zone blocking scheme, a zone run blocking scheme. The Chiefs aren't a running team, so that's not going to be them. They need multiple pass catchers to maximize that offense. That's like the Bills, bro. Like the Bills.
They desperately need a running back, though.
The Bills do, because they're not balanced. But when you look at the Bills, they have Stephon, they have Emmanuel Sanders, they have Cole Beasley, they have Gabe Davis,
Dawson
they
Knox.
Have Dawson Knox, who's been amazing. They have 5 legit guys who can get open.
And now let's look at the Packers, who went to 2 straight NFC championships with just one wide receiver.
And what scheme have they implemented there?
But that, regardless of that fact, they've still been able to have success with just one offensive.
The reason why they've had success, for one, it's Matt LaFleur's scheme, West Coast. It's a running scheme. It's very a lot of play action. McVay. Yes, exactly. Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league. That's one. And I understand Tyreek Hill is in that same tier.
And Kelsey is the best tight end in the league
but
by far.
The difference with the Packers is that they don't live and die by the pass. And they have players that fit the scheme. Like MVS, he's not a household name, but he puts a threat on the defense because he's very fast.
If MVS is a threat, McCole Hardman's definitely a threat.
MVS is better than McCole Hardman.
Oh, bro, I don't know.
It's a toss.
Definitely is crazy. I mean, if you want to say he's a little bit better, but he also has some serious drop issues that he's been dealing with year after year.
That's the only thing, but he gets open.
The only thing, that's still a big issue.
But McCole doesn't get open.
You're a receiver, and you can't catch the ball. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, but McCole can't get open.
They use them differently, too. McCole, I feel like, is designed more to do underneath and screens, while MVS, they say go
straight
deep.
Go routes.
But that's why he puts a threat on the defense, so that's the scheme. That's talking about the scheme right there. And Robert Tonyan, he had a Pro Bowl tight end season last season. Also,
he was touchdown oriented.
He's done for the year.
Yeah, I know. There's no doubt. And we're not even sure what the Packers are going to be. Their defense is really why we have them in a category of potential Super Bowl appearance.
Still, but
yeah, of course, Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers has been there for years now. The reason why they've never been favorites is because the defense has been trash. But now that defense is
they're always
giving
one of
them
the top 3 or 4 favorites
optimism.
in the NFC.
Yeah, because of Aaron Rodgers, but they never get over the top because that
Yeah.
defense holds them back.
No, I agree.
But the reason why you talk about the Packers have had success. That's true. But what do we say every single year?
Oh, but they only have one and they're having success. I'm looking at the Chiefs, and they have 2 arguably at the best at their positions. Kelsey, it's not a debate. He's the best.
You know what the difference? Like I said, it's different schemes. The Chiefs are a pass-heavy team.
And they've went to one Super Bowl, an AFC championship already.
This is the difference. The Green Bay Packers, their scheme is built around the run. It's a West Coast scheme. So they can get away with having less receiving threats because they have Aaron Jones.
But we're also saying this.
They have Jamal Williams, who was there last year, who was pretty good for them too. A.J. Dillon is bursting onto the scene this year.
We're saying this 1 week
year.
removed out of their running back being arguably their most essential piece in the game plan. So now let's see if this trend continues.
It's not.
It's probably not. That being said, in my opinion, if they want to continue to see the playbook open up like it did this past Sunday, they need to continue trending in that direction.
Yeah, they need to run the ball more.
But I'm not thinking so much as run. I'm thinking running back focused. However you can, get the running back the ball. Because obviously passing works. And if you're going to be this pass-heavy offense, which obviously they are, Make it
extension
different.
of the run.
Exactly, 100%. And I understand that obviously, in part, is why Todd Gurley got shelved so soon. It puts him in dangerous positions.
Oh, yeah, well,
but that's
his
when
knees were.
It didn't help. That being said, you still have that combination of Clyde and Darrell. Darrell, who clearly has shown he's more than capable of being that pass-catching type. Keep taking this, keep going on this direction. See where it takes you. See if the offense continues to expand. I mean, again, like we said, we're 1 week removed, but it was arguably their most dominant offensive performance.
Two of the best rushing teams right now currently are the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. The Patriots completely embarrassed the Browns 45-7. They're now 6-4. Mac Jones had 3 touchdowns. Stevenson had 2 touchdowns.
Ramondre, man.
And man,
Damien's playing too.
Baker is a faker. Baker isn't good. And he threw an interception to Kyle Duggar. Almost another one to J.C. Jackson. And Dearness Johnson also fumbled on a screen on 3rd down. And to me, honestly, these turnovers just ended up biting Cleveland in the ass. And they couldn't recover back from this game. Because I thought that sometimes plays just weren't there for Cleveland. And Baker did a good job at not forcing the issue at certain points. But you couldn't really do anything. Like, the Patriots, they just completely dominated this game in every single phase. And I look at the Patriots, and I really think this is a team that can make it out the AFC. And right now, I'm leaning towards picking them. Like, they are probably my favorite as of right now. The Patriots are the only team that I really trust.
I heard this last week out of the Titans, AFC. But I can understand.
Yeah, outside of the Titans. Yeah. It's the Titans and the Patriots for me. All of their losses have come by 1 score outside of New Orleans. Cowboys, Bucs, Dolphins in week 1. The Bucs losing to the Bucs and Cowboys by 1 score is still, it's a moral victory.
I'm with you.
The Dolphins, they should have won that game. And the last 4 games, the Patriots have outscored their opponents 150-50. Outside of the Titans,
include that Jets game 50-3 we lost.
Outside of the Titans, the Patriots have the most impressive wins in the conference and beating the Browns and the Chargers, and they manhandled the Browns. Mac Jones is the 5th highest graded quarterback according to PFF. 13 touchdowns, 7 picks, 18th in QBR. Harris and Stevenson make up a very good running back duo. They have okay receivers. They have separators at receivers, route runners, and they have tight ends that can block. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, they can block really well. Defensively, Ball Hawks and JC and Adrian Phillips and Kyle Duggar, they've all been amazing. I just trust the Patriots over any team in the AFC. I trust them just a smidge bit over Tennessee because I think Bill Belichick
100%.
is a better coach than Mike Vrabel. And there's a lot of the teams in the AFC at the top of the AFC just have problems, and I can't buy into them. The Bills can't run the ball. The Ravens don't have a defense. The defense is trash. I don't trust the Browns. The Chargers can't stop the run. Who else am I missing, really? The Chiefs.
Chiefs are the scariest to me.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are the scariest because if they get it going, we know what they're capable of, but that's if, and that's a big if based off of what they've been so far. But really, those like the top teams that we usually talk about in the AFC, I can't really trust them. And what do we always say about Bill Belichick? What is his forte? It's about creating havoc for young quarterbacks. And what is the AFC filled with? Young quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Even though Mahomes has been here for a while, he's still considered a young quarterback, even though he's had success against Belichick. Yep. The Baker Mayfield too. Baker Mayfield, young quarterback. The quarterback with the most experience in the AFC right now is Ryan Tannehill. And I don't trust the Titans fully because, one, Derrick Henry's not there, and Tannehill, I think, has kind of been reckless with the ball this season. And the receiving threat, I mean, A.J. Brown and Julio are always in and out the lineup, so you can't count on nobody, really. And their offensive line isn't that good, and the Patriots have been pretty good at rushing the passer. This year, they're the 6th-ranked offense. They're the 2nd-ranked defense. I just trust the Patriots, and as of right now, it's between the Patriots and the Titans to make it out the AFC. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Patriots make it out of the AFC. And 2 weeks ago, I had that take in my brain.
I gave you credit for it.
I didn't want to say it yet because I just felt like it was too soon. But they have showed me enough. And their next 4 games are against the Falcons. That's a win. Tennessee and Buffalo. Those are the 2 games that, okay, this is what these 2 games are going to show us what the Patriots are really made of. The games against the Titans and Bills. And then they have the Colts after that. If they can go 2-2 in these games, I think the Patriots are going to show everybody they are legit.
I think the Patriots have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but if they actually end up getting there, it would surprise me. Bill Belichick, best coach in the league. Their defense is playing well, the offensive line. Their offense, I just don't know if I could trust Mac Jones as a rookie in prime time, especially if they're going to have to go on the road. It's a different ballgame. If the Patriots get home field advantage, they get the 1 seed, right? And you have to go to Foxborough for every game, different. I don't think being, 2-3 games out of the 1 seed right now, I don't know if they're going to do it. If Mac Jones has to go on the road, play a Baltimore, play a Tennessee, I don't feel great. If they're home, it's a whole different situation because I trust Bill Belichick, and we know Foxborough is one of the hardest places to play. Just like you said, I look at the other AFC opponents or contenders, and none of them stand out. The ones that stand out really is the Chiefs, because we know if the Chiefs click and they get it going, they're going to be the contenders, number one, regardless AFC or NFC. We've seen Patrick Mahomes do it year in and year out. But you see a team like Buffalo, a divisional opponent. Bill Belichick's played that team 1,000 times, even though it hasn't always been with Josh Allen. I know he's played them 1,000 times, and Buffalo's rushing game, well, it does rank if you look per game. They're about top 10, but when they've been in so many blowout games where they just have to run the ball the third and fourth quarter, it kind of inflates the stats, right? When they were in close games, they had 82 yards against the Titans, 72 yards against the Jaguars, even though you could kind of throw that game out. They did play well against the Pittsburgh week 1, but week 1 seems like a whole new season at this point. But at that case, if they don't have a run game like we're kind of expecting, and it's just Josh Allen versus Patriots defense and Bill Belichick, I like my odds if I'm New England there. It's going to be if Mac Jones could really do, what he's been doing up to this point. Is the light's going to be too bright. He did at Alabama, won national championships. He's been there. He's done that. But the NFL is a whole different ball game. And you go look at the Titans. I think that would be a defensive game, especially if Derrick Henry's not going to be there, and it's just going to be Deontay Foreman, Adrian Peterson, Jeremy McNichols show. Because a few weeks ago, I said when Derrick Henry went down, I think they should start passing more. Make AJ Brown the focal point in this offense, and they've done the complete opposite of that. And to their credit, they've won a couple games. A really good win on the road against LA, and against New Orleans, who has one of the best defenses in the league as well. And then the only other team that really stands out is the Ravens, but they just have so many injuries that are bound to catch up to them. Like you said, their defense has been so shaky the entire season. And Bill Belichick's just one of those coaches that he could shut down Lamar. He's going to find some way to contain him and just make him be human and not superhuman. Yeah. We saw him last year. They won. It was a sloppy game. I remember it was pouring rain, but regardless, they won a game that they really shouldn't have with Cam Newton throwing like 120 yards. So I think the Patriots can make the Super Bowl, but I think it would surprise me just because I don't know if I trust their offense to be explosive enough.
So you said something interesting there. You don't know if you can trust Mac Jones in prime time. The game versus the Bucs and Tom Brady's return, that wasn't enough for you to say, I can trust this guy?
So it's a regular season game.
It's
a huge game.
Rain.
It's a huge game regardless, but it's still a regular season game at home compared to possibly on the road in the playoffs. I don't like
in the rain though.
Yeah, okay.
He still lost, but he did play well.
Like if they blew him out by 20, that's one thing. But they did lose.
And it's not like he put the kicker in the best situation at that point.
But Mac Jones played a great game.
He played a solid game, for sure.
No, a great game. I'll say a great game. He played a great game.
You also love Mac Jones.
I think Mac Jones is legit.
I do too. I think he's really good, but I'm not ready to put a rookie. When's the last time we've seen a rookie go to the Super Bowl?
I mean,
Ben
Brady was pretty young,
but he wasn't a rookie.
Brady, same thing.
I was saying Ben Brady, and we're talking early 2000s.
Mahomes went to the AFC Championship.
His first year starting, sure. But
that
offense was.
It's not common, but at the same time, this is going to be basically my main point. It's Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick's playing with one of the ultimate chips on his shoulder. He just seen Brady come off of the ultimate gratification world tour of Brady made Belichick. Brady's the reason that Belichick has this many Super Bowl wins. He's tired of hearing that. Bill Belichick's coming into this season, obviously had a whole different game plan, had a bunch of money to spend. He said, all right, I'm going to be smart with the way I divvy it up, go and make some smart decisions, bring in Hunter Henry, bring in Jonnu Smith, and Hunter Henry has been an excellent addition for them. Mac Jones clearly taken to a liking to him. We've seen Kendrick Bourne start to become a little bit more involved into the offense. Absolutely love to see that. And watching him play was very interesting. Obviously, he only had 4 receptions, 98 yards. But I like the way that they were using him out of the backfield, really trying to confuse the defense.
Talking about Jonnu?
No, I'm talking about
Stevenson.
No, oh my goodness. Kendrick Bourne. Thank you. Look, we just threw all these names out. It confused me. Kendrick Bourne. They were using him out of the backfield. I think he had over 30 rushing yards. So it's just different schemes that they're throwing at defenses. Obviously, Damian Harris being one of the leading scorers in touchdowns, or leading the leaders in touchdowns this season, has 7 touchdowns, has over 500 yards rushing. He's been excellent for them. And clearly it doesn't matter who you throw in behind him, because Stevenson's come in and been effective as well. 20 attempts, 100 yards clean, 2 touchdowns. He was excellent. Obviously, you already said it, the 6th-ranked offense, number 2 in points given up. I think they're number 6 in total yards given up either way. So it's not as if they're giving up yards and they're getting bailed out in the red zone. On all levels, they've been excellent defensively. And Mac Jones has done the job up until this point. Now, obviously, I understand and can get behind your thoughts of you can't trust a rookie quarterback in the biggest stage. A lot of these guys are young and haven't really had the experience. Obviously, they have more than Mac because he's been in the league just this season, and they've been in certain situations 2, 3, and Tannehill's being one of the rare occasions being in the playoffs. More than these younger guys, and Josh Allen, Lamar. Obviously, Mahomes is the outlier because he already won his Super Bowl. But it's Bill Belichick. And ultimately, if I'm going to put my faith in a coach, I'm going to put in Bill Belichick, especially with, I don't want to say the pressure, but the scrutiny he's received over this offseason. Last season, they were definitely underachievers. People still respected Bill Belichick last year and gave him the benefit of the doubt. They were going to be competitive. They definitely underwhelmed, and he clearly took it personal on his Michael Jordan and came in this season, has been amazing. I will say this. If he wins a championship this year, it should be no debate. He's the greatest sports coach ever in all sports. You move on a year removed from the greatest ever in Tom Brady, and you win a Super Bowl in this fashion, basically completely rebuilding the team. I'm giving 100% credit to Bill Belichick with that one. If he can win it, look, I'm getting goosebumps at the thought. If he can win a Super Bowl with this team a year after Brady wins it, he's the best ever. And in all sports. The only one that will come close is Phil Jackson.
You mentioned that when's the last time a rookie's led a rookie quarterback has led a team to the Super Bowl? When's the last time we've seen a quarterback like Mac Jones as a rookie that can run an offense as good as he? Since Andrew Luck. As a rookie running an offense that good, and Herbert, I just forgot about
Kyler came in and was solid too.
Yeah, not a lot of rookies.
I don't think Kyler wouldn't have been able to run that New England system his rookie year.
Not a lot of rookies come into Bill Belichick, Correct. Josh McDaniels, in the best organization in
hold
all
on.
football.
We have to stop this because I feel like because Mac Jones is doing well, everybody's trying to find different ways to discredit him. It's the Patriots, good organization,
no one's
good coaching,
Mac Jones.
Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels. We always say are these things to try to discredit him, but when are we going to give him credit in saying that the New England system is an extremely complicated system to understand, let alone execute?
Yeah.
And Mac Jones has done it at an insanely high level. The touchdown interception ratio may not look gaudy, but he's the one that's driving down the field, putting Damian Harris and Stevenson in those positions to score, even though I know they get a lot of rushing yards, but he's the one running that offense. He's the one doing it. For him to be a rookie and to execute that offense, you have to tip your cap off to him.
Yeah, it's nothing against Mac Jones. I just, obviously, bro, if Mac Jones get drafted by the Jets or the Falcons, he doesn't do this. And it's nothing against him. It's just true.
If Mac Jones got drafted by the Jets, he'd have a Mike White versus Bengals performance every single goddamn game.
No, he wouldn't, bro. He wouldn't throw 400 yards.
Well, not 400 yards, but I'm saying that game where you saw Mike White get the ball out quick, decisive with his decisions. That would have been Mac Jones.
I mean, Mac Jones is basically doing that in New England, though.
I know, but
and he hasn't thrown for 400.
different.
I know the 400 yards. That's not what you meant. You just meant that he would be a statistical phenomenon every single week.
I mean, listen,
but I feel like he's already in that situation.
You can't control when you're throwing a 4-yard.
Look, I don't want to hate on Mac Jones. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I think
Mac Jones is really
control
good.
when you're Mike White. You can't control when you throw a 4-yard pass and it gets taken for 20.
That's a fact.
Which that's what was happening in that game. His average depth of target was 4.
Yes.
Like, let's just be realistic.
And Mac is getting more and more comfortable.
Do I think Justin Fields can run New England's offense as a rookie right now? No. Do I think Lawrence can do it? No.
I think if it's one quarterback, it would have been Fields.
That can run New England's offense?
I don't think it would be as effective as Mac, but in terms of football intelligence, I would think Fields is right up there.
I'm not trying to take anything away from his intelligence. I think he's a smart young dude. But Cam Newton couldn't even run it as great as Mac is doing right now. And Cam Newton is far more advanced than Justin Fields right now as a quarterback.
But Cam was never the perfect fit. Mac Jones is the perfect fit in this offense.
Cam was a fit. He was an intermediate passer.
Yeah, but not a good one. He's not an accurate passer. He doesn't have the arm as Mac.
He's a good intermediate short passer. He is.
He was terrible last year.
Because the threats that were there were not
got basically
great.
the same
I was going to say, they got
what do you mean? Hunter Henry, John Smith, they were not there.
Yes, but
Kendrick Bourne was not there. Aguilar was not there.
Kendrick Bourne has never been this.
Guys. They're guys.
What do you mean Kendrick Bourne has never been this? He was good in San Fran.
Kendrick Bourne would be the wide receiver 4 on the Jets, bro.
Ooh, you're being spicy right now.
Serious?
You're being
Corey
spicy
Davis,
right now.
Elijah Moore, Jamison Crowder.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, bro. He's the wide receiver 4 on the Jets.
He's got a point.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
Bro. Low key.
Okay, 3. If you don't want to give Elijah Moore because he's a rookie, I think he's better than Kendrick Bourne.
No, he's better than Crowder.
I disagree.
He's better than Keelan Cole.
I didn't even talk about Keelan Cole.
Yeah, because you shouldn't. He's better.
Bro, Kendrick Bourne is an average receiver at best.
Chili's breaking out.
No, he's a
Same
good
thing
receiver.
with Aguilar.
He was good in San Fran.
But he was very limited in his role.
He wasn't.
That's because they're a run-first offense.
Regardless, even when he got opportunity, like Kendrick
made
Bourne,
the most of them.
He had the chance to break out because we saw Debo was hurt. Brandon Ayuk was a rookie last year. Kendrick Bourne had every opportunity to really seize the wide receiver 1 role if he wanted to. He didn't.
Well, I never said he's a wide receiver number 1, but
okay, here we go. This is what he did last season.
To say that Matt doesn't have a far better supporting cast than Cam is just delusional. Cam's best receiver was N'Keal Harry.
It was Jacoby Myers.
Okay, and he's their third receiver right now.
Jacoby Myers probably leads the team in receiving.
No, he's been amazing.
No, it's Bourne.
No. Well, regardless of that.
Maybe after this week.
Last season, Bourne had 667 yards total. This year, he already has 520. So 2019, he was...
How many games did he play last year?
Last year, he played, I want to say all of them. He played 15, so he missed 1. 2019, he played all of them. In 2018, he played all of them. In 2019,
so you mean last year when Jimmy G was out the entire year and C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins were
all right, so then here's
and
a
they
full
played really well.
Hold on. So you want Jimmy G in the lineup. Here it is. 2019, he had 358 yards. And in 2018,
how many games did he play?
He played all of them. And the year before that, he played all of them and had 47. This is Kendrick Bourne's breakout. This is his breakout.
How many games did he start?
Last season?
No,
it doesn't really
in
show
the Super Bowl
me.
year, 2019.
I mean, he played all of them. I mean, the 2019 season, they brought in Emmanuel because they didn't think that he was the guy.
He's not a number 1.
Kendrick Bourne, 100%. But now he's coming in this year, and he's been amazing. This is his breakout.
This is his best year.
But I don't know why we're doing this when we're comparing the number 1 receiver. We're just saying, oh, Kendrick Bourne versus this guy and that guy. It's Aguilar, Bourne, and Myers. I know that's not an exceptional receiving core, but it's far better than what Cam had last year. And why is that such a crazy statement?
It's not the craziest statement, but it's not like...
it shouldn't be a crazy statement at all.
Would you say these 3 guys, are any of them firmly above average?
That's not the point.
I'm asking you a question.
That's not the point. Well, for one, Nelson Aguilar definitely is. Last year he had a breakout season.
He had a lot of bomb touchdowns for sure, but this season he hasn't really been what we were expecting.
Yeah, because New England doesn't run the type of
Answer the question, are any of these 3 firmly above average? No.
Yes.
Firmly above...
Yes.
None of these guys are elite separators.
Wait, hold up. Elite? We got to stop throwing that word out there.
That's what I'm saying. Firmly above average.
Above average does not mean elite. Above average is just
I'm
good.
not saying elite. Elite's strong, obviously.
Hold up.
But I understand the sentiment.
Is Bourne a good receiver?
He's average.
You're talking to the wrong person because I like Bourne.
I was going to say
Is Nelson Aguilar a good receiver?
Average.
I think he's average.
They're both average. They're both
Jacoby
guys,
Myers
bro.
not a good receiver.
Jacoby is a solid,
I think Jacoby's
piece.
the best.
Okay, so Last year, Cam was throwing to Jacoby Myers.
N'Keal Harry. It was terrible.
Who?
N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry, who
Edelman for like
Bird,
5 games.
Hunter Henry makes this a whole different topic, and that's why
Well, I'm
both
saying,
tight ends are
all
good.
I said was that Mac has far better weapons than Cam had last year. That's not a crazy statement.
No, it's
They're
not the
better. It's
craziest.
because they went
It's
from
just-
the worst weapons in the league to like the 25th best weapons in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, they got better, but these weapons aren't like, oh my god, they have a Devontae Adams. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's a reason
have
why the
better
run game has
receivers.
been a key part in them winning games.
Why is the run game that effective?
And you
Think
tell
about
me.
it. Because they
have
got
a great blocking or run scheme, and it obviously works week in, week out.
No, because they went out of free agency and got 2 of the best blocking tight ends.
That's true.
Which has helped maximize
Which is
that
exactly
scheme.
what I said. Okay.
No, you didn't. It's different
What did I
because
say?
it's different.
I said
You
they
didn't-
have a great run
You didn't
scheme,
mention
great
them
blocking
too.
scheme.
You didn't mention them.
But what is that? All right, sorry that I didn't
So
specifically.
what did they have
single them
last year?
out.
Dalton, Keenan, Devin,
that's true. That's fair.
Asiasi. Like, come on.
Their offensive
Terrible.
line was solid still,
It was.
It was good, but
and they also had Tooney on that
tight
line that
ends
they
set-
don't have this year,
tight ends set the edge.
for sure.
Yeah, but this year they don't need Tooney because they have Onwenu.
They had a great offensive
and they
line
have
last
Shaq
year.
Mason. Those are their guards. They don't need Onwenu.
And it's not
they
like-
didn't have David Andrews. He opted out
The
last
run
year.
wasn't the problem last year; it was the pass.
Yeah, Cam
Cam had 12 rushing touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
David Andrews opted out last
Okay,
year.
we're
He's
talking
back.
about passing though,
We're talking about weapons.
but
We're
but
talking
no,
about
ultimately
weapons.
it's passing. But then we started talking about why they're having success. Ultimately, why they're having success is because this great run scheme that they've had this season. Last year they had the great run scheme.
And what is that
also.
opening up? That's opening up the pass. But what
But
is that?
Because
but,
Mac can hit the.
But they have better receivers this year
do.
than last
They do.
year.
They
That's
do.
not so.
Yeah, I'm with
that's
you.
end of the conversation. That's what it is.
But I understand. But no one was really disagreeing with you. It was just far better. Like these guys aren't.
Yeah, sure. Going from N'Keal Harry, who's a first round bust, to actually having receivers who are productive. Yes.
It's Kendrick Bourne. Like he's solid. Shout
What
out
do you mean?
to him.
He's good. He's
been
on
solid.
pace to get 1K this year.
Mac Jones is a big part of that.
If the Patriots go and draft a receiver in the first or second round this year,
Wait,
it's
so
going to be
hold
the
on,
best receiver on their
you
team.
guys are all over the place. Because first,
Me? I've been very consistent.
first it's the system is making Mac Jones. Then it's
go ahead.
then it's this year Mac Jones doesn't have far better receivers. Then you're like, oh, the reason why the receivers are having success this year is because of Mac Jones.
Yes.
So
he's
what
a
is
better
it?
he's a better player than Cam Newton, and
this
I don't
point
think
in
that's
time.
I don't think that's a debate. I'm sure you feel the same way.
I don't think it's a debate either. I'm not disagreeing with
Okay.
you.
Then what are you really disagreeing
I
with
don't
us
understand
here?
what's the issue.
They have better weapons this year than last
Is
year.
that
You guys
the only
tried.
thing?
You
Is
guys.
that
why
your
are you
only
guys?
quarrel with what we're saying right now?
You guys are pushing back on that.
We're not really pushing. It's
yes.
like yes, you're right there, but like,
it's just like
is it really that much of a difference where Cam shouldn't have had any kind of success?
Cam did have
in
success
the
there.
past.
Well, that's a different story.
That's exactly
Because
what we were
Cam
talking about.
wasn't as bad as he's made out to be. In New England, he was very underrated. He was very underrated.
He had great running games.
Once he got COVID, after that
100%.
it was a complete pre-COVID, especially that Seahawks game stands out. He was phenomenal, but post-COVID, bro, he was not good.
COVID
And
to do it to you.
No, 100%.
Oh, I
Yes.
agree.
COVID could do it. Their weapons were terrible, and yes, the Patriots have better weapons this year.
And
but
he didn't get caught up with the scheme. There's a lot to do with this. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of variables there. I'm just saying there are far better weapons this year. And back to my point,
That's
like,
the only argument
I
you're
was
going to
gonna
make,
say,
bro. You got it.
we went from the worst weapons in the league, the Patriots, to like the sixth worst.
They're still
You know what I'm
20.
saying?
They're in the
Yeah, bro,
20
like,
range.
but they're now maximizing their scheme, which is important.
because
And-
Cam is a
they're-
better
and-
fit.
and they're-
Mac
and
Jones.
they're
Yeah.
maximizing their scheme because they brought in Henry and Jonnu.
That
and
helps.
They brought in Aguilar and Bourne, and they brought in these other guys that has helped them a lot.
Aguilar's
They drafted
been whatever.
Stevenson, who now outside
Stevenson's
of Damien
really
Harris,
good.
He's
Stevenson
he's
has been really
solid,
good.
man.
So I don't know how we got to this point, but I know it started because you guys pushed back on the fact that the weapons weren't better.
It started because you said the reason Cam was bad last year was because he had no weapons.
I never said I never said the reason why
You said
Cam
he's
was
a good
bad.
intermediate passer, and I said he was terrible last year.
No, I said no. Yeah, he's a good intermediate passer. He's a good short passer.
But then that's when you said they had no weapons.
yeah, they didn't have
But
weapons
then
last
it's
year.
not like it's a significant jump from last season to this year.
It is because you added Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith and Kendrick Bourne and Aguilar.
Again, that helps the run more so than it helps the passing game. Although Hunter Henry,
what do you mean? Hunter Henry is one of the best pass catching tight ends in the NFL.
In the red zone, he's been absolutely stellar.
But in the short and intermediate game, he's really good.
It's hard
to be, bro. It's hard to be a successful intermediate passing team if you have no tight end. And they had no tight end last year.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Cam was put in a position where there were no weapons there. Like, this isn't something groundbreaking. Everybody acknowledges it. Like, there was no weapons last year.
Sure.
But to talk about New England, just talking about their matchups and how they match up with teams in the AFC, the Bills are a pass-heavy team. They're not a running offense. The Patriots, I think their corners can match up very well against the Bills and really hold that offense to not an explosive game. The Patriots, if the Patriots meet the Bills in the playoffs, they can beat them. If the Patriots meet the Chiefs in the playoffs,
it'll be a good game.
If this defense is playing like this, not the last 3 games, this good, but if the Chiefs defense is still a bottom 20 defense, they can beat them. There's no doubt. And also, if the Patriots just have to worry about Hill and Kelsey offensively, we know that Bill Belichick, he's taken players out like that before. So if you're just playing,
I was gonna say,
and they have some of the best corners in the league, best secondary in the league.
That's a fact.
As a whole, can the Patriots beat the Ravens in the playoffs? Absolutely,
definitely.
It could be any team.
What team in the AFC do I say the Patriots can't beat them in the playoffs? There's none. There's none.
A wild season.
They can beat any team in the AFC. And they have the best coach. They have a quarterback who I trust to protect the ball. They have a very great running game. They have a good tight end duo. They have one of the best secondaries in the NFL. They have a good run defense. What don't the Patriots have? They're the most complete
100%.
team in the AFC.
But you could say that about every other AFC team. I think the Bills could beat anyone any given week. The Ravens, the Chiefs. Like, I think any given week they could beat anybody.
Not the Ravens.
I think, why not? They came
Ravens
back and
have
beat
some
the Chiefs.
impressive.
They don't have a
wins this
defense.
Year.
Lamar's has
offense,
shown that I don't care if I don't have a defense. I'll go out winning myself.
I think the Bills, I agree, because they have an elite offense and defense. The running game sucks, but the offense is there. So they have that. But the Ravens, Lamar has to score 25 plus to win.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yep.
He has to do that.
Defense been bad.
Outside of the Chargers game, which was an anomaly, really, what have they done defensively to really impress anybody? And the Chiefs, they're really the wild card.
Scary, man.
They're the wild card. And the Chargers, too. The Chargers can't stop the run at all. And Joe Lombardi right now is not looking like such a great OC. He's really dropped off big time.
Yeah.
So I can see that. But I think the Patriots, they can beat any team in the AFC. I don't see why they can't.
The Chargers offense just completely changed. Like, ever since, I want to say the bye, Mike Williams, we saw the first half of the season, was a top 3 wide receiver in the league. And he is dealing with, I think, a knee injury. But second half of the season, Keenan Allen's really shown out as the target hog. And Mike Williams has kind of just disappeared back to Mike Williams.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike Williams, I thought he was going to have a breakout season.
Hey, you were right for the first 5 to 6 weeks.
He was amazing.
Dude,
I think he hasn't been as involved as much. They haven't really involved him.
It might be the injury, but at the same time, I don't know why they would really change the scheme up. Maybe defenses are realizing Mike Williams the guy, and they're really drawing attention to him, but it's still Keenan Allen opposite side of him.
There's also a chance that the first 4 years we saw who Mike Williams was, and he just kind of got in a 6-game hot streak. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a 4-year data sample saying that Mike Williams is probably just a guy.
All right, and talking about hot streaks, you always have a chance to get on a hot streak when you use DraftKings.
Sure.
And the NHL season is underway, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has an unbelievable offer to celebrate the greatest sport on ice. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. Doesn't matter if it's a one-time clapper or a deft deflection, however they light the lamp, you win. If the sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at $1 million in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Throw down $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. This week, one puck in the net nets you a big win with promo code TBPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
Listen, put your money on the Rangers. 4-game win streak. We've been hot.
We tweeted out a contest for a free $100 NBA store gift card. We're still waiting to see the results on that, just to let you guys know.
Cool.
So that's just for the audience to know.
Listen, Rangers averaging 2.39 goals per game.
You're
$1.
You're a hockey nut?
I'm just giving a little insight. I know we throw a little hockey promo in there. Rangers been hot. We're averaging 2 goals a game. 1 goal wins you $200. Who knows?
Are the Rangers good this year?
Bro, we've been solid. We're 9-3-1 this year.
Nice.
We've been really good.
What about the Devils?
I don't know. Truthfully, I don't care about the Devils. I'll look for you right now,
Tell
though.
you a single thing about hockey. I do some of it for work, so I probably should know more. But.
Yeah, come on, bro. You're looking bad. They are 7-4-3. That's not bad.
What do you do for work for hockey?
We have a partnership with MSG, so we do all of the Sabres, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders games. But yeah, I don't really I just do it. I don't really pay attention to how they're doing.
Oh, okay.
So I don't blame you.
So what are the Devils right now?
They are 7-4. They're 7-4.
7-4.
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
No, it's not bad. I mean, the Rangers are 10-3.
Damn,
we're nice. We're third in the conference.
Rex Ryan called out Robert Saleh, right? And he said, "Don't compare me to this doofus." He didn't say that, but he said, "Don't compare me to this guy."
You were sick.
Well, keep going.
Rex Ryan was like, "This guy has had one of the worst defenses. He's only had 1 year at where he's coached a top defense." He said, "Don't compare me to this joke. Don't compare me to this guy. This guy hasn't accomplished half of the things I've accomplished, let alone." So when I heard these comparisons, it made me sick to my stomach. So Rex Ryan was annoyed by the Robert Saleh comparisons, and Robert Saleh just came out in the press. Somebody asked him about it. He said, "Listen, Rex, he talks a lot of shit." And he said, but he knows where to find me. If Rex ever wants to pull up on me, he can pull up and we can get to action.
Rex is screwed.
You think Robert Saleh will handle Rex?
Yes.
Pause.
Bro, yeah, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, bro, Rex is not, no way.
I don't know. I think Rex is a fighter, yo.
Look at Saleh, though, bro. And Saleh's in shape. You see him going up and down the bleachers. Rex goes up and down the bleachers one time. Might be
he's huffing.
Yeah, it might be over.
Now, you're true. Maybe Rex is a wrestler, though. You never know.
Okay. Again, a UFC ring.
Wrestle
maybe
with a foot or something. I don't know.
But yeah, Rex Ryan called out Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh responded. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this little beef that's going on between the current Jets head coach and former Jets head coach?
I love Rex, man. He's the one coach that brings back happy memories of a Jets, real quick, 2009, 2010 season.
Is he your greatest coach ever?
No.
Probably not.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
I think
Herm,
yeah.
I would take Rex.
I would say Rex got us to 2 AFC championships back to back.
His first year, too.
Yeah. But regardless, Rex gives me some of the only happy memories as a Jets fan. So he's always going to have a soft spot in my heart, and I'm always going to be rooting for him.
Yeah.
But it's just, he's comparing apples to oranges here. I mean, when Rex took over, he's coming from a competent organization. You had Mangini, you had Tannenbaum there. And this team with Brett Favre just going 9-7, we had a phenomenal, probably the best offensive line in the game with DeBrickashaw, Brandon Moore, Faneca. The list goes down the line. Great defense with Chris Jenkins, David Harris, Revis, Kerry Rhodes. Cromartie. So yeah, Cromartie was 2010, but still, Rex comes into the situation. The foundation's there, the culture's there. We were coming. Mangini is far superior, and then you talk about Adam Gase. And 8 years of incompetency from the general manager from Idzik and McCannon, where you look at these last 5-6 years of drafts and you're like, bro, other than Jamal Adams, Marcus May was nice. Like, you look at this up and down, you're like, what's going on with these past regimes?
And Braden Mann.
Braden Mann, who is the starting punter again. We saw we cut Morstead a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, man sucks.
Yeah, he's been rough. But you look at the team Saleh took over. Not only is he rebuilding this team, he's rebuilding the culture. Right, we went 2-14 last season, the number 2 overall pick in the draft, the worst coach team in the NFL. Adam Gase is the worst coach the NFL maybe has ever seen, and McCagnon thankfully is gone. Joe Douglas has been there a couple of years, so I think we're actually building a team. I like some of the pieces we have, but you just can't compare yourself. The situations are completely different. Now Rex isn't wrong. This defense has been terrible. It's I want to say worst, if not second worst in the league in terms of points, yards given up, worst in points. Yeah. So, I mean, Rex has a point where this team, it seems like they haven't been playing with a lot of heart. These last 4 games especially, we're giving up 30 points, 45.
Too.
Yeah. We gave up the last 4 weeks, 54 points, 31, 45, and 45. So we expected this defense to kind of carry this team more or less. We're like, the offense will come around. Zach Wilson, hopefully second half of the year, will pick it up. But this defense has been terrible. The only way I push back here on Rex is you came into a situation. First of all, who's comparing Saleh to Rex?
That was another question of mine.
Because
who did that?
I'm in tune on Jets Twitter. I haven't seen this. Like, sure, I guess they're both. Saleh's a big personality on the sideline, but Rex is a big personality at the
pressers,
mic. Yes. Like Rex went out and said, we're going to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. Basically every year he was there. We're going to the Super Bowl. Saleh's not saying that. He's a big personality on the sideline.
Saleh can't say that.
No, because it's not
But
happening.
could Revis? I mean, excuse me. Could Rex
crazy
really
for
said that?
saying it.
Oh my God, they gave him hell for it.
Yeah, but what Rex took over was a competent team with a ton of talent, and they just put in little pieces. Drafted Mark Sanchez, brought in Sean Green, Ron LaDainian Thomason, Cromartie in 2010. They just added a little icing to the cake. Braylon Edwards. This Jets team now is terrible, and Saleh and co have to rebuild the entire organization, culture, talent. So Rex just doesn't. It's not the right place to compare.
So, but before you go,
it's all right, man.
You got to let the Jets fans,
of course,
talk first on this
cool
subject. Rex Ryan is not wrong. In 12 years, he has 9 top 10 finishes and yards given up. Never finished 20 or less. Robert Saleh in 5 years, 2 top 10 finishes, 2 bottom 20 finishes. In San Fran, 2017, Saleh had the 25th ranked defense. In 2018, it was the 28th. 2019, it was the 8th. And in 2020, it was 17th. He's only had one really great year of coaching defensive football, as a defensive coordinator at least. But I try to find knocks on Rex Ryan's resume. I try to.
You can't.
The only thing that you can say about Rex is that he was gifted a roster that was already elite defensively.
That's a fact.
Phenomenal.
But even then, like in 2014, the New York Jets, when Rex Ryan was coaching the team, Darrelle Revis had left, Cromartie had left. In points allowed, we were 25th in the league that year. But in terms of yards allowed, we were top six in 2014. We were a top 10 defense in yards allowed, and the points were probably given up because our offense just stunk that year, and they were turning the ball over.
Is that the year of the butt fumble?
No, it wasn't. That was the year with Geno.
Yeah.
That was Geno's.
Oh, yeah.
That was Geno's rookie year, I believe, or second year, one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
And on defense, they're solid talent. Muhammad Wilkerson, we know he was great for us. Damon Harrison, Sheldon Richardson, Quentin Coples, who was a bust. Demario Davis was there, he was fantastic. David Harris was on his way out, but he was still good. Calvin Pace. But then you look at this secondary that he was given after Darrell and Cromartie left. Antonio Allen, DeJuan Landry, Calvin Pryor, Darren Walls. And guess what? The very next year, Todd Bowles takes over as head coach. And it's the same defense, but we drafted Leonard Williams. And we got Cromartie and Darrell back.
Yeah.
9th ranked in points. They were a top 10 defense that year. So that means Rex Ryan, in terms of giving up points, they were bottom 20, but for me, yards matter more. And they were getting off the field with a trash secondary. I don't know if I see Saleh doing that. And the only thing that you can knock Rex for is because, Rex, he's going on TV, he's a lot of personality. He's talking about these embarrassing losses, which they're embarrassing. There's no doubt. But this is the same guy who got embarrassed 45-3 by the Patriots in 2010. This is the same guy who lost 19-49 on Thanksgiving to the Patriots in 2012, the butt fumble game.
Must have been played on ESPN over. Wasn't it 356 days in a row? Something egregious.
Yeah, and the two embarrassing performances from Robert Saleh with the Jets this year have been by way of the Bills, which are one of the best teams in the league, and the Patriots, who are playing like one of the best teams in the league as well. So the fact that he was embarrassed like that by these two teams, really, to me, it's not an indictment on who he is as a coach. Rex Ryan has gotten embarrassed before. I think the only problem I have with Rex is that he's acting like his resume is perfect. You have a Mark Sanchez tattoo. Resume's not perfect. You believed he was the guy.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he won with Mark Sanchez being his quarterback. But I understand what you're saying. Obviously, he took the chance on him, and that might have not been the brightest move.
I'm going to be honest. As much as we can try to praise Rex for that, Brian Schottenheimer was really good as an OC for us.
Yeah, for sure. But I'll make it short and sweet because you guys really hit the nail on it, truthfully, on both sides. I think that obviously you shouldn't take the shot at Saleh. Obviously, he's gone into a terrible situation. He's trying to make the most of it. But at the same time, Rex Ryan clearly has the resume. First year comes in, first in points, first in total yards. Next season, third in yards, sixth in points. Next season, 5 in yards. Season after that, 8th in yards. He had a great span of years with this defense. Obviously, he's one of the more brilliant defensive minds in the game. But you're right, he had the talent to benefit him. But then, like you mentioned, obviously there was the years that he really didn't have the talent, and he still was effective. So I don't know why. Ultimately, do I think that he should have said this? Absolutely not. Because, one, no one's comparing you to Saleh off year one, especially when your year one, you were the first in points and first in yards, and you went to the AFC Championship game and lost to the Colts. More than respectable season. You overachieved without a doubt. So people will always give Rex his credit, but at the same time, he didn't just need to throw his name in the line of fire, and not in the line of fire, but in this situation to praise himself. Because if you're a Jets fan, you automatically know Rex is superior to Saleh, obviously. But what you're going based off one season of Saleh having one of the worst teams talent-wise in the league. Give him a break. Obviously, Saleh has been very lackluster up until this point defensively, and we would have liked to see the run game be a little bit more effective. Quentin Williams obviously is having a decent year, but we would like to see him pick it up a little bit too. Secondary, I'm blanking on the corner's name. I always do this. Begins with an A. Oh my God, I hate myself for this. No, not an A then. Hall. Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall. He's been pretty good for you guys. Yeah. He seems to be one of the few bright spots on this defense as a whole. Don't know what's going to happen with Marcus May next season.
He's gone.
It's just a lot of things that's going to happen to this defense next season that probably could benefit Saleh. Obviously, he hasn't been dealt the strongest of hands as of right now, but I think he can bounce back. And I think that he is a qualified coach for the job. Obviously, he brings a different energy that the Jets haven't been around in a few years, probably since Rex has been there. So maybe that could be the minor comparison, but it's night and day. Rex has success. Saleh has done nothing yet. I don't know why Rex said this, but at the same time, Rex is right to a degree.
There's a difference in being an incompetent coach and just having a talentless roster. Robert Saleh just has a talentless roster.
Yeah.
But the Jets this year have 50 penalties on defense all season. That ranks 5th best. That means they're receptive to what Saleh is saying. And for a young team, we're the youngest team in the NFL. On defense, we're the youngest defense on the NFL. For our young defense to be this disciplined in penalties means Robert Saleh is doing something right. You know, John Franklin Myers, since he got paid, he's disappeared. Yeah. Where has he been? He's disappeared. Carl Lawson was supposed to be our pass rusher. Bad luck, he got injured for the year.
CJ Mosley's been solid for you guys.
CJ Mosley's been kind of ass, I'm going to be honest.
He's had up and downs, but you'll take solid. It, especially after missing an entire last year.
He just can't cover.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting him to at this point. He's 31.
He's an inside linebacker. That's what you pay him to do.
No, he's middle line.
Inside linebacker, middle linebacker.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yep.
Two of the big things. One, we lose 2 of our best defenders, and Carl Lawson and Marcus May. Right, that's going to completely destroy your defense because you're going into the season thinking, all right, we're going to have an elite pass rusher, and we're going to have at least one person in the secondary that we can trust no matter what. The other thing is the Jets this offseason were focused heavily, like they should be, on offense. Our first 4 picks were all offensive players. In free agency, Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, everything was pointing towards the offense. So I wasn't expecting the defense to come out and be phenomenal. I was expecting to be a lot better than worst in the league. But the focus this offseason, this upcoming offseason, is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Joe Douglas had this past season. He's like, you know what? We're going to get the quarterback. We have to get him an O-lineman, some weapons. We'll give him a year to develop. And then next season, maybe we should get another receiver, possibly go another O-lineman. But we have a ton of picks. We could finally address the defensive side of the ball. Saleh's also going to be in the house, in the locker room for a year. He's going to know what meshes and what doesn't. Let me go this year, get the help for Zach so we could have a quarterback, hopefully this time next year, that we know for sure is our franchise quarterback. So I think this time next year if Saleh's defense is still like this, and it's the worst in the league, when he has a full offseason, really 2 offseasons to kind of put his finger on this roster and pick the defensive guys he wants. Obviously, Douglas is making the decisions, but Saleh's going to have a huge say. Then it's an issue.
Yeah, you're right. And talking about defense, we're going to talk about the Packers defense because they've been pretty good this season. They've been borderline amazing. They've been elite. There's no doubt. The Packers are 8-2 right now. They shut out the Seahawks. They only gave up 13 to the Chiefs, 21 to Arizona. Kyler had arguably his worst game against the Packers. I would say probably his worst game against the Packers. They're third in offensive yards allowed per play, 6 in takeaways, and they've just been amazing all year. Do you think the Packers have the best defense in football right now? And do you trust that this defense can be a catalyst for why the Packers can make it out of the NFC?
Go first.
Sure, man. I mean, given the talent that they've played.
Mr. Last Dance.
Listen, it's still possible, but I'm not as strong as I was on that take, obviously, preseason.
Thinking Rodgers come back?
I think he will probably, but I think at the same time, I just look at the Rams, and I've just been so solid on them all season.
So I'll ask you this. Before the season, you picked the Packers last dance season.
Yeah.
Then after week 1, you saw the Rams demolish the Bears and said, you know what, they're actually the team that's going to go.
They looked perfect week 1.
In saying that, you see what the Packers have done these past couple of weeks.
Yeah,
you saw what the Rams have been these past couple of weeks. You don't want to take this opportunity to change your stance and go all in on the Packers?
Me, there's one thing about me. I don't flip-flop. I stay strong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. It is what it is. But I do believe I'm right here. Think that obviously the Packers are a solid team, and defensively they have the matchups to back themselves. Bengals have been in a high-power offense. Only let up 22 points against them. You look at the Chiefs, only let up 13 points against them without Aaron Rodgers playing. Against Seahawks, 0 points. Against the Cardinals, 21 points. And this is the Cardinals team that has basically steamrolled every single team that they've played. That win against the Chiefs, that loss against the Chiefs was an impressive loss. As much as a loss is not impressive, you look at this game, they probably win this game by 20 points minimum if Rodgers plays. The defense was astute, was just everything you could ask for from them. They held Mahomes to a very mediocre game, and if Love was serviceable, they win this game regardless. In terms of their defensive ratings, it's been amazing. They're third in total yards, and in points, I want to say they're still top 5. The only defense that is comparable to theirs would be the Bills, but then I look at the Bills and that strength of schedule, it really isn't that impressive to me. The one team that they played that was impressive and that could actually put up points was the Titans, and they lost. And that was with, obviously, Derrick Henry being a factor, but on all sides, they gave up 34 points to a team that really, it was A.J. Brown, and it was the Derrick Henry show mostly, but they shouldn't have let up 34 points onto the first team that they saw that was actually talented offensively. So I'm looking at the Packers, and obviously the strength of schedule of these last couple weeks, they might have the best defense in the league. And I guess this is a little off topic because I just want to talk about the team as a whole. Packers are going to be a great team. They're going to be a contender down the line for sure. But their biggest hole, their biggest need is going to be that second weapon. We say it year in, year out. Do I still think they'll have success? For sure, because as long as you have Rodgers, as long as you have Devontae Adams, you'll have success. And Aaron Jones has been great. Him going down definitely hurts. But we've seen A.J. Dillon come in and still be a strong contributor to what they have going on there. I think defensively, it makes their chances a lot greater because obviously what has been the knock on them these most recent years, aside from that second wide receiver, is that defense good enough to get them over the hump? Obviously, they gave up 28 points early last season to the Buccaneers, but they really clamped down, and that offense came steaming back. And if not for Matt LaFleur not being a little ballsy with the play call, who knows if they win that game? I'm looking at this season, and it seems to be not that the offense is lacking, but it just seems that everything is clicking. Just need that one extra weapon, and I'd be very solid on them. That's why I look at the Rams, and I just think as a whole, they're a little bit more complete. That second corner would be great, but it's not really essential given the fact that they have Jalen Ramsey. And obviously that pass rush is going to be good enough where they don't need to be in coverage or, you're going to be getting a bunch of coverage sacks. It's going to be Aaron Donald. It's going to be Von Miller coming off the edge and getting to the quarterback. So that's why I lean more the Rams, but defensively, they got it. This team is stellar. Secondary, pass rush, middle linebackers, outside linebackers, they really got it all. And this is with a bunch of injuries to their team. That's one of the more reasons why I'm impressed.
I think there's 3 defenses really stand out. You have the Packers, Bills, and Patriots. We talked at length about the Patriots defense. We know how elite they are. It's been a weird season, though. I mean, I think you look at the Packers' schedule, and I look at this latest Seahawks game, I kind of throw it out. It's impressive you held them to 0 points, but this is Russ' first game. That finger is not right. Like, there's no way he should be coming back in less than a month and playing a football game where a lot of doctors saying you should be out at least 6 weeks. I think that's something that's going to hurt Russ the rest of the season. I think that's going to be one of the reasons why Seattle doesn't make the playoffs, because I just don't think they're going to be able to connect on deep balls, especially to DK and Tyler Lockett like they have in the past. But you look at the rest of the season, week 1, the Saints, they got killed. I feel like you could almost throw that one out if you want to balance out Seattle in that. But then they had the Lions, Niners, Steelers, Bengals, who have kind of been up and down all season, Bears, Washington. But then the 2 games that really stand out are the Cardinals and the Chiefs. And what really stands out is these were 2 games where they needed the defense to stand up. Against the Cardinals, short week, no receivers.
Anyone, basically.
Everyone had COVID, the whole receiving room. So it was a big Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon game, and they needed the defense to stand up, and they did. They were phenomenal against Arizona, held them just to 74 rushing yards, 40% on third down, and forced 3 turnovers, which is very unlike the Cardinals this year. They've been really efficient on offense. And then the same thing against Kansas City with no Aaron Rodgers. We need the defense to stand up. What are you going to do? You hold them to 13 points, 3.8 yards a play, 237 total yards on the road in Kansas City. Regardless, I know Kansas City had not been playing well, and outside of this Raiders game, going into it, we're like, what's going on with Kansas City? But regardless, that's an extremely impressive win, especially because going into the game, Kansas City was like, oh, they don't have Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be a breeze, and they struggled. Right down to the last possession. What's gonna happen if Jordan Love had any sort of competency? I know that's your boy, but if he was any sort of decent,
keep paying. That's all I'm saying.
Whatever.
Keep paying.
That's a good bet. I'm good with that. I'm good if Jordan Love's my mistake, because Jesus.
But I mean, they've really had a few guys. Kevin King has stepped up big time in Jair's absence. He's been really good. Adrian Amos, Rashawn Gary have been a couple guys
Stokes
who have
been great.
Yep, another good season for those guys. And Devondre Campbell's PFF's number 1 rated linebacker, so he's having a really good year. I don't know if they're the best defense in the league, but they're in the elite tier of that top 3.
Who's your best defense then?
They're all like them, the Bills and the Patriots. Like, take your pick. I don't think I would probably side New England just because I get Belichick, but I think you could argue any 3 of them, and I'd be like, sure.
I just found out you don't say it. You don't say Jair.
How's it pronounced?
It's Jair. Jairi.
Who told you that?
Oh no, hold up, because it's Zaire with just a J. It's Zaire with a J, so Jair. Jair.
Did I not say that? Jair.
Yeah, what?
You have to emphasize the AY, like the Jair. Jairi. Like Jair. Jairi.
So if I say Jair.
Yeah. Jair is how you say it. Jairi.
You're good.
I was going to say
that. Yeah, you're good.
Jairi is not how you say it. Jair is how you say it.
You said Jairi. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did say Jairi. Yeah. But I feel like it's the same thing, bro. It's pronunciation.
He's the one who brought the pronunciation.
Look, the Packers have been great. Before I give my take on whether or not they're the best defense, Devondre Campbell has been amazing. He deserves a lot of recognition because this year he's playing at an elite level. Whether or not he's going to continue this next year or the season after is still to be determined. But Devondre has been a pretty solid coverage linebacker since he entered the NFL, but this year he's really taken off. He has the best coverage grade of any linebacker, and even without Jair, that's how you say it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even without Jair, having Kevin King step up and Eric Stokes, who's been excellent as a rookie, the Packers have been very impressive. Not having Zadarius Smith as well and still being this elite is very impressive. I know Kevin King was hated amongst the fan base because of the PI call he gave up against Tampa in the NFC Championship, but bringing him back was very good. And Eric Stokes was on Lockett for most of the game. Lockett was targeted 3 times, 0 receptions, and Kevin King was on DK. He had 0 receptions. And honestly, I think Kevin King has been really solid these past couple of games. To talk about the defense, they're 3rd in offensive yards allowed per play. They're 6th in takeaways. There's no doubt this defense is stellar, but there's still some holes. There are still some big weaknesses. For one, they're 18th in first downs given. They don't get off the field as much as I'd like them to. And second, they're a bottom 5 team in rushing yards per attempt. The only teams that are worse are the Jets, the Vikings, Chargers, and Cardinals. The Chargers playing dime for 99% of the game. The Cardinals, we saw what the Panthers did against them this past week. The Jets suck. And the Vikings, it should be better because they have the talent. They still haven't fixed their rushing defense. And I know Joe Barry has been very good. I gave Packers fans a lot of slack for that move because I wasn't a believer in Joe Barry. But that gap, that hole in the rushing defense is still there. It is still real. Thankfully for them, there are teams in the NFC that can't really capitalize on that disadvantage. I don't view Arizona as a rushing team, especially when they have Kyler, Hopkins, and Kirk.
Connor does lead.
Connor's been
11
Connor
rushing.
has been going because Hopkins
rushing.
has been on and off.
He's also been
I get it.
The touchdown machine. Like his yardage, he's been kind of iffy, but
God bless
touchdown
him.
machine.
God bless him.
And then the Rams, Darrell Henderson. I just don't trust their offensive line right now. Their offensive line has gotten exposed.
Cool with that, but Darrell Henderson, I can't tolerate any disrespect.
The only team in the NFC that I really say that I look at and I'm like, okay, if the Packers face them in the playoffs, they're gonna give them some trouble. That's
Okay,
Dallas.
Nice. Oh wow.
The Cowboys, they're a perfect matchup for Green Bay. And if Green Bay faces Dallas in the playoffs, that's going to be the worst matchup for them because they can't stop the run. And if you got Zeke and you got Pollard, yeah. And then if Jaire's not back and you're having Kevin King and Stokes on
Jair, bro.
Jair. Yeah, if you have Jair there if you don't have Jair with Kevin King and Stokes, you're asking them to cover CD and Amari.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know, is there any word on Gallup and when he's coming back?
He came back last week.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good sign. So now you have Cedric Wilson, Gallup. Like, oh, come
and
on.
Schultz has been great for them as well.
This team is just stacked. The Cowboys are going to be a force to be reckoned with. That's probably going to be like a high-scoring game, probably.
Surprised you didn't mention the Bucs. I feel like obviously Fournette.
I don't really
Ronald
trust
Jones.
them. I don't trust a running game like that. I don't.
Lenny's been excellent this season, man. He's been great. He really has been. Obviously, when he goes against really good rush defense, I think against the Rams specifically off the top of my head.
Last week
the
he played
Saints.
bad.
Last week, I think he had a decent game.
Well, they were getting killed early.
So, yeah, you're right
I think
about
he had
that.
like 4 yards.
But regardless of that, I mean, Fournette, outside of those games against solid rush defenses, he's been very effective.
Yeah, I'm not that big of a believer, but okay. But yeah, I think they have that glaring hole. They can't really stop the run, and maybe their rushing yards per game allowed is a bit different, but I'm looking at rushing yards per attempt, and I think that means more than yards per game, me personally.
Yeah. I
feel like
it could just be skewed because
yeah.
if you get let off a 70-yard run and then you let off 2-3 yard runs the rest of the game, it's still not going to look great. But there's no perfect stat. But one thing I would say is the Cowboys are a bad matchup, but I think the Bucs are a bad matchup because we've seen multiple years that the Packers just get out physicaled by their opponent, and that's where the one part where I can see the Bucs, their offensive line, their defensive line, really just being a mismatch for the Packers.
So this weekend they're facing the Vikings, and Aaron Jones, he's out, so A.J. Dillon is going to have a much bigger load. 15 carries last week, 81 yards, 1 touchdown against Pittsburgh.
Dude's a beast.
They're one of the worst run defenses in the league, and he did that. But he's averaging 4 yards per carry, so he's been very effective.
Yeah, Dillon's really good.
How do you think they do against Minnesota?
Personally, I feel like they should just continue to be the same old Packers that we're accustomed to. Obviously, Aaron Jones, losing him is a hurt to the squad, but at the same time, A.J. Dillon's been more than capable out of the backfield. I think that we're going to see his pass-catching abilities a little bit more on display this weekend, but I think A.J. Dillon fills the role in fine. Obviously, you mentioned the stats. Clearly, he's been effective. This past week against Seahawks, he had a really good game as well, and I don't think that it'll really be that much of a hiccup. Obviously, we're talking about the Vikings, who have been amongst one of the worst defenses against the run, obviously, so I'm expecting Dillon to continue to add on to that. But overall, they shouldn't struggle. Defensively, they've been excellent. I'm not expecting the Vikings to really give them much trouble. Obviously, it's a division game, so anything can happen. Of course, you can take that. Anything can happen, but I still think that the level that they're playing at defensively, and Aaron Rodgers, I think he missed practice actually
He did
today.
with the toe injury.
So it'll be interesting to see if he plays, because obviously if Jordan Love plays, things get a little bit different, and you really got to scheme, or I'm sure that they'll hone in more on A.J. Dillon than they're probably already thinking about it. But obviously, if Rodgers plays, it allows A.J. Dillon to feast.
I'm call it an upset alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for AJ Dillon because his one game last year where Aaron Jones was out, he had 21 carries, 124, 2 touchdowns.
I'm sorry, bro. I only laugh because every single week, bro takes Minnesota against whoever they're playing.
He's a big Minnesota
I don't
guy.
know one week he's chosen against the Vikings. Did they lose this past weekend?
Nah, they won.
Okay, I'm just asking because I remember this is the one that you said.
They beat the
was
Chargers.
good. That was a good win too.
Yeah.
They
I'm
dominated.
calling it upset alert. Vikings over the Packers this week.
They're in Minnesota?
If Rodgers, they are.
It don't even matter.
They are.
Okay.
It
If
don't
they
matter
were in
where
Green
they're
Bay,
Let me ask you: if Rodgers plays, you're still on Minnesota.
100%.
I think Rodgers I think it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
He's a vet.
Kirk Cousins is actually the number 1 rated passer according to PFF.
He's been excellent.
He doesn't have like the number 1 quarterback grade
what you
because
mean.
they
Yeah.
account for like rushing and stuff as a quarterback, but he's a number 1 graded passer in PFF.
He's been great.
Yeah, he has been.
And
I'm
Dalvin
excited-
Cook, I told you, the Packers are still not very good against the run. So Dalvin Cook,
Dalvin
Cook, he gonna do his thing.
Yeah.
I want you to reread those AJ Dillon stats for me.
So last season, he missed that one game. I want to say it was like week 15, 16. AJ Dillon
so
had
many
21 carries, 124 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
The Vikings
He's more
run
than
the
capable.
Vikings run defense is bad.
Terrible.
So let's just prediction time. Packers Vikings. We know the Vikings run defense is horrible. Tell me how many yards you think AJ Dillon gets.
He has over 100 in a touchdown.
I'm thinking,
Because, sorry, I was going to say, one thing about we've seen Aaron Jones this year, he doesn't get all of the work because of AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon's going to get all the work because there's no Aaron Jones. Who's their third
Imagine
stringer?
they just paid Aaron Jones $12 million a year
Yeah.
for this guy AJ Dillon to still take some touches from
Yeah,
him.
like there's no their third string running back. I don't even remember his name, but he's not going to play more than 15 snaps.
As long as Rodgers plays and as long as Devontae Adams is there, AJ Dillon's is rushing for a minimum of 80 yards. That's at a minimum.
I think he's going to have 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I always get jealous at how comfortable people are with holding a mic.
Yeah, well, like
Yeah,
this.
'cause, no, there's some people like if you look at interviewers and stuff like that, they just like grab the mic and they just move it around. Pause. They just like
Like how Colin
they
does?
just maneuver, yeah, like that. You know how
Yeah.
Colin
Yeah,
Coward
yeah.
does it? He's just so he just grabs it. I'm like, this is $400, bro. I'm not like grab like that.
That's a fact.
Colin's not paying for that, Mike.
Yeah, definitely, definitely not. Talking about defenses, one of the top defenses last year was Washington, and they dropped off this year, not significantly, because they still have one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. They still have one of the best run defenses. It's just their pass coverage, mostly their linebackers. William Jackson has not been what they paid him to be. Jamin Davis has been horrible in coverage, and Kalecki Hudson, who's a starter alongside Davis, has been horrible in coverage as well. But that's really what's been holding back their defense. The Bucs lost 19-29. Brady threw 2 picks. Heineke and Gibson had big-time games.
Gibson was shocking.
They are 3-6 now. You know, what are just your thoughts on this game? I don't know if you think this is more of an indictment on the Bucs or on Washington. You know, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think this should be like a 5-minute segment, if that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think do we care that the Jaguars beat the Bills, that the Jets beat the Bengals? Like, you know, what
I
I'm
do
saying?
care that the Jaguars beat the Bills because it clearly exposed.
Well,
their
the big
need to be a
storyline
running-
here is that
to-
Chase
to
Young
need
is
a
out for the
running
year.
back.
You hate to see that.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the more promising pass rushers in the league. Take away from this game, like, I don't really care. The Bucs are going to be fine. They're going to go to the playoffs, win multiple playoff games. The Washington's not going to make the playoffs. They're going to have a top 10 pick. I think that's the end of that.
All right, you know what? Fair enough. At the same time, I will give Washington their credit. They played as perfect as a game as they needed to play to
Heineke.
beat the Bucs.
Heineke's not bad.
He's not bad for sure, and obviously they had that close game in the wild card game last year where
Against the Bucs.
That was probably their closest game outside of the NFC Championship game, where it came down to one play really that decided the game. But ultimately, Washington really gave them a fight, and then obviously they made up for it this time, got their number. Brady struggled for sure. Probably Brady's worst game statistically this season. Obviously 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, only threw for 220. Heineke borderline played a perfect game. 26 completions, 32 attempts, 256 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, did not turn the ball over. They got the lead early. They started milking the clock. Gibson, 24 attempts, 64 rushing yards. Wasn't that efficient. 2 touchdowns. That's really all you need to make the stat line look really good. So obviously they got the lead early, started milking the clock. They controlled this game from start to finish, basically, and the Buccaneers really couldn't get anything going offensively. Obviously, you would think that, you lose Chase Young, momentum starts to switch to the Buccaneers side, but not really. Washington continued to put pedal to the metal, grinded out this W, so that's a solid win for Washington, but Joel's 100% right. Ultimately, I don't care too much about this loss. Buccaneers are still going to be the Buccaneers. You can't just turn your back on them off one loss against a team that is just one of those teams that can beat you on any week in the regular season. Obviously, they're not great talent-wise, but end of the day, they're not utter trash where they can't get a win against a team in the NFL.
Yeah, you see the Jaguars, arguably the worst team.
It happens.
Beat the Bills, arguably the best team.
Last season, the Jets were defeated 0-11 and beat the Rams.
On the road.
Anything can happen in the NFL.
20-point underdogs.
Taylor Heineke's not that good, bro.
We're
not saying that he's not, obviously.
He's better than Joe Flacco.
I don't know.
Oh, bro.
My
Yo,
God.
chill, bro.
Really?
He's better than Joe Flacco.
Don't entertain it. Don't entertain it.
I
Don't
really
entertain
don't
it.
know.
You're good.
Dude, you're
You're
crazy.
good.
You're crazy.
I don't know. That's
Bro,
really
Joe Flacco
close.
stinks.
Dude, he sucks.
He doesn't.
He sucks.
He
I
can't.
never said he doesn't suck.
So then Heineke sucks.
Look
Heineke
at,
sucks.
Bro,
look at Joe Flacco stats with the Jets last year.
Like
I
a 2-game
care.
sample.
No,
bro.
I'm just asking.
Well,
you
we're
to
getting
do
blown out by 40 every
I have
game.
to
I'm
do
supposed to be
this.
impressed by like.
It. No, I'm just asking
Empty
you to,
stats?
to
Fine,
do
all
it
right, all right.
with Joe Flacco's supporting
Don't-
cast.
I got it.
I know. I'm looking at Heineke.
All right.
Heineke has 12 touchdowns and 9 picks on the season. 87.
And look at
passer-
his rushing yards.
87 passer.
And look at
rating.
his rushing yards.
All right, whatever. But we're talking about as a quarterback.
Oh, but PFF takes into account
He
rushing
has
too, so it's
he's not
like
he's not rated high on PFF at all.
I'm not saying that he
He's one
needs
of
to
the
be
bottom
high. So
quarterbacks.
I'm just saying it's still something that you should take into account.
Somewhat, not with a Taylor Heineke though.
Yeah, the Jets last season he threw for 864 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks.
That's very similar. to
Heineke,
Heineke.
2,200 yards, 66% completion, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
How many rushing yards?
I was gonna say, I'm just looking for that. It's passing.
I'm just saying Heineke's not. They got to get
We're
a
not
quarterback.
saying he's all world.
They got look.
He's also
no,
got 250 rushing yards.
I feel bad for Washington fans. You want to know why I feel bad? I feel bad because this season has been a wash.
Bro, it's been a lot of their defense just being completely not what they were
Terrible.
expecting.
They're expected
Their
to be a top
defense-
Secondary is garbage.
Their defense is not trash. It's just their secondary that's trash.
Yeah, its secondary's been bad.
That's really all it's been, and their coverage has been trash. But their defensive line
Didn't
is
they
still
get
there.
William Jackson? They
He
lost
hasn't been good.
Darby. He's
Yeah,
really been trash.
Jackson hasn't been good this year. But Washington, I came into the season thinking, okay, they got Fitz at quarterback. Curtis Samuel's gonna play. Curtis Samuel hasn't played. Where is he?
Bro,
he's hurt.
The Jets have more sacks than Washington this year.
Yeah, but they have a way better defensive line.
Talent-wise, yeah, but they haven't produced. I thought Chase Young was going to be Defensive Player of the Year worthy.
They have
this year.
produced. Look at their run defense; it's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about pass rush though.
Yeah, but the Jets are the worst in everything.
I know. They have one. They have more sacks. I'm not. Listen,
You got
it's-
Chase Young. Listen, you got Chase Young.
Yeah.
You should have more sacks than the Jets, who their best.
You can
defensive
say
lineman is
that, but
Quentin
it's a
Williams.
different. There's a difference because the Jets are a team that will blitz much more, whereas Washington they're gonna just send their front four to go after the quarterback.
And
They
for
might
being
send
honest,
one
they should
more.
blitz more because
I-
why do you want to put it in
I
the
don't
hands
know
of the
their
secondary?
blitz percentages off the top of my
Well,
head.
that's
I'll
why
take
they
the
don't
word.
blitz more because you can't leave your secondary vulnerable.
Is that something you
Like the
Google?
Jets have a secondary that they could afford to be like, yeah, let's do one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, but they don't have any luxury to do otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Neither do the Jets. I love Bryce Hall, Mike Carter the second as much as the next.
No,
guy,
I'm just
but-
saying like the Jets have to blitz and create pressure because their front four doesn't create pressure on their own.
Word.
You know, so the Washington, they're like, okay, we have a front four that can do it. So why send more guys if they can do it? You know, the Jets they
Are
don't
though?
have
They
that.
got 19 sacks.
Look at the pressures though. Like, come on, man.
I know what you're
Come on,
saying.
man. But you know, when watching this game, there was this like headline and narrative about Tom Brady that like he's washed because he threw 2 picks in the first quarter. The first pick, I don't know why it was counted as an interception. It was a
Who
fumble.
comes up with these narratives? What do you be reading?
You don't be on Twitter?
But why do people? It's Tom Brady. He's been excellent all season long. He's probably the MVP still off one game against Washington.
Respect him because he's
Come
gonna beat
on.
your team. He's gonna beat your pick.
I am respecting him. I've never disrespected
Stafford?
Tom Brady. No, he's saying he's thinking that they're going to beat the Rams.
Oh.
Irrelevant to the conversation. And-
Thinking.
Yeah, regardless. Get me on my train of thought. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. To think he's washed of a game against the football team, irrelevant.
I don't really think
blitz
that.
percentages. Washington,
let's hear it.
32.4. Jets, 38.4.
That's significant.
6%.
Yeah, but when you like really crunch those numbers down, that 6% is probably like,
It's like
60
probably like-
more
All right,
times.
249. You're 100% right. 100% right. 249 times they've blitzed the Washington football team. 195.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It doesn't look a lot, but it's a lot.
You're right.
But I was watching this game. I don't think Tampa struggled offensively outside of the first half. I thought they were in positions they were in positions to come back in this game. They did come back in this game.
Washington just did a great job milking the clock.
They milked the clock because Tampa just couldn't get off the field. The time possession was 39 minutes to the Buccaneers 21. In the fourth quarter, Levante David forced a fumble on Dax Milne, who was Zach Wilson's former receiver, number one receiver at BYU. And that resulted in the touchdown to Mike Evans. They scored right away. It was 19-23 because Ryan Suckup missed a field goal.
That was the bomb 40-yarder? That was a nice play.
They scored at the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Tampa didn't get the ball until there was 1 minute left in the game.
It was a 10-minute drive. It's
crazy.
That was insane.
Very impressive by Gibson because we haven't seen that at all this year, getting 20-plus carries.
This really wasn't even that great of a game by him.
Wasn't.
He got in the end zone.
No,
that's what I'll give him his credit for.
I'm saying just the volume alone because he had the shin injury that's been bothering him. I think the last 2 games he's had like 11, 10 carries playing 45% of snaps. Like McKissick was getting a lot of burn. Jared Patterson was getting seen in the field too. So it's encouraging because Gibson's by far their best running back.
I think the Washington's defensive struggles have kind of been overblown. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for that. Look at the Jets. We just talked about the Jets earlier. Rex Ryan in 2014. In terms of points allowed, we were 24th in the league that year. The Jets were. But that's because we had Antonio Allen and Darren Wall starting at the secondary. As soon as we get Darrell and Cromartie back, which I know, but at the same time, it's like 2015, Darrell and
Reavers was elite in 2015 and was terrible in 2016.
Cromartie was, on his way out.
Facts. Crow was,
So we saw how big of a difference that made.
I need to be honest. I made a mistake before. I was looking at 2020. 2021, the football team has blitzed significantly more than the Jets.
Uh-oh.
They're at 32.2%, and the Jets are at 25.1%. That's on me. I apologize, listeners, but that's interesting now. It's early in the season. I should have known once I read 240. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of blitzing already.
240, yeah.
Because the football team's at 119, and the Jets are at 87. So that's still it's 30, around 30 clean, but it's interesting. I apologize. That's on me.
But even outside of like William Jackson, they don't really have.
They don't have guys. No,
they don't have a corner. Even though Kendall Fuller has been he's been average.
Yeah. But
then really Landon Collins, we've been known that he's horrible at
bad
coverage,
contracts.
So they need to figure out that secondary because once they do, if it can be this offseason, they'll have one of the top defenses in football again.
Yeah.
And they need Curtis Samuel to step on the field because what we were most excited about was seeing Terry have someone opposite of him, and really hasn't been that at all.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Samuel, no, I'm going to say this. If Curtis Samuel was on steroids, he'd be Deebo Samuel.
Sure.
He's a little chunky. He's chunky, but somehow he's fast.
I don't think he's chunky. I feel like he's kind of slight.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He's a little big dude. Yeah.
I think he's slight too.
He's a little stocky, short dude. That's what I'm saying.
I always thought he's kind of just like skinny.
I just think he looks very skinny. He looks like Paris Campbell to me.
I'll be honest. I haven't seen him on the field. Has he played at all this year? Maybe a game or two.
I don't really think he has played.
Yeah.
And also, Diami Brown has been disappointing this year too.
Yeah, but what was he, like a
third round pick?
Nah, he's got a fat face, but he's pretty built. Obviously, he's in the NFL.
Yeah. Who you talking about? Curtis Samuel?
Curtis Samuel.
Okay. Former Washington football quarterback Dwayne Haskins, one of the greatest picks in Washington football history.
Oh God.
He was a 15th overall pick in the first round in 2018. When Dwayne Haskins was passed up by team after team passed up on Dwayne Haskins. When the Giants passed up on him, everybody clowned them. They made the mistakes of their lives. And I know Daniel Jones hasn't been this prized possession, but when talking about Dwayne Haskins versus Daniel Jones, it's not even close. Dwayne Haskins is a bona fide bust. And I think we can officially say right now, his career will never get on track. He got cut in his second season, midway through his second season in Washington. When does that happen? Especially for a quarterback. That didn't even happen for Jamarcus Russell. Yeah. They gave Jamarcus Russell more time.
He was the number one pick, to be fair.
That was before the rookie pay scale, so they guaranteed him like $50 million.
Yeah, they had to. You're right. They had to. They had to keep him for a while.
Oh my God, they must have been so bad.
But in his career, he's been criticized for taking selfies with fans. Even a veteran all-pro linebacker in Thomas Davis, when he was in Washington, said this guy doesn't even take the game seriously. He's just He's just an arrogant dude. And he got cut, and everybody thought he went to a better he did go to a better situation. Everybody thought once he went to a better situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he would finally get the chance to revive his career and show what he can do. But he hasn't been able to beat out Mason Rudolph. And Mason Rudolph is universally known as nothing more than a backup quarterback. And whether or not he's a good backup is up for debate or not. And NFL Network's Aditi, because I can't say her last name, reported that Haskins spent warm-ups throwing lousy passes and checking his phone. There was a report before. Just think about this. If Dwayne Haskins actually wanted to be successful, knowing Big Ben is out, he's like, this is my time to shine because I'm better than Mason Rudolph. If you're a first-round pick, you should be better than Mason Rudolph. You were the 15th overall pick. You had a great season at Ohio State. Dwayne Haskins should have been looking at that Lions game like, this is a trash team. I can really make my mark in this game. Instead, it was reported that he spent warm-ups throwing lousy passes and checking his phone. And the coaching staff was even like, what the hell is this? They're even out on Haskins. I don't know how much longer Haskins has in the NFL. I think he gets cut in a year or so and we never hear from him again. It's pretty much over for him. And he has nobody to blame but himself for not taking the opportunity seriously. And I kind of feel bad to an extent because he's still a young dude, but at some point you just have to be more mature. And I think people ignored all these red flags pre-draft because Urban Meyer even went on radio shows and said, I think he's not ready yet.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God, why would he say that?
He even said he's not ready
he didn't
yet.
Lie, but that's not.
And he should have stayed at Ohio State. So Dwayne Haskins, it's a sad story, but you ultimately reap what you sow, and he just didn't take advantage of his opportunity.
Sorry, Joel, excuse me, but look what he did with Washington. First year, he played in 9 games, but he had 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a 58% completion percentage. Next season, 7 games, had the same amount of interceptions, but 2 less touchdowns and 5 fumbles. Clearly, this guy doesn't know how to hold on to the ball. Wasn't really effective. Had 1,400 yards throwing, but really that's irrelevant to me when your touchdown to interception ratio is in the negative. And obviously, you want to throw more touchdowns than you throw interceptions. Dwayne Haskins, like you mentioned, hit it right in the head. Had a great opportunity this past weekend, against the Lions to make a name for himself, or at least put him in position to be the future starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he kind of just said, I don't really care too much, truthfully. You're just not showing that kind of effort, especially when you look at Jameis. Last season, he waited his time. He knew that he would be next in line for the Saints starting quarterback position. He waited, but he worked. He, regardless of what you want to say about Jameis's character, his play on the field prior to this season, he worked this offseason to be put in a position to have a successful season with the Saints, and he was doing so up until this point, truthfully, until obviously he tore his ACL. But that's someone that actually showed dedication to the grind. Dwayne Haskins has yet to do anything remotely close to that word. So obviously, I think you're 100% right. I think that his time in the NFL should be cut completely. If you're not taking your opportunity, it's the NFL. People kill to be in your position, and the fact that you're not putting in effort to take advantage of that is sad, truthfully. So I don't care what happens to him, especially the talent that he had coming into the NFL. You squandered it, and that's on you.
All I can think about is Joey. one of our good friends. That's his profile picture on Twitter. He put like the meme, the Batman signal of Dwayne Haskins.
His name is Dwayne Haskins fan account.
Yeah.
You're down bad.
He's down so bad,
down
bro.
bad
Like, what's
when
going
that's your
on?
name.
I'm honestly shocked they didn't cut him right after, bro. Like, you see what if you have a backup quarterback, right? Especially a guy that you're kind of saying like, hey, we're giving you a handout. We want to give you a chance. We want you to, possibly rejuvenate your career with us. We think we have the pieces that can do it. And you see him out on the pregame field. I don't even want to know what he was doing in practice leading up. Like, is he really in meeting rooms? Is he studying? Is he watching game field? If he's doing this in front of everybody, in front of reporters, checking his phone and doing the kind of just lousy passes, not really caring what's going on, like, you have to be prepared. What happens if Mason Rudolph got hurt or he didn't play great. He was fine. But if he gets pulled because he's not playing well, all of a sudden you're in the game. You're not prepared. This was your one time to shine because Big Ben is probably going to come back next week. He's going to start. And we know for sure, especially after this, the Steelers are not going to put faith in Haskins. We hear all the rumors about Aaron Rodgers, and maybe a rookie, whatever it might be. But we're not even going to talk about that being on the same level as Aaron Rodgers. But you can't even be a backup. You can't be like, you're a third string right now. Your goal right now should be, okay, maybe I could be the backup next year. And Aaron Rodgers or whoever their quarterback is next year, maybe he misses a game or two. Then I could show that I could be a starting quarterback or a high-level backup. But this is where you're going to show not only to these reporters, but you look at all of your other teammates who are around you who are going to different teams next year or obviously have friends around the league. Whenever they're going to be like, oh, should we pick up Haskins? They're going to have 52 other guys in the roster be like, nah, I saw what he was doing in practice. I saw what he's not studying film. Why should we pick him up?
Yeah, you're right. And where did Aaron Rodgers come from?
I was just saying,
man. There's reports that he
haven't
wants.
Seen that, bro?
Yeah,
that he's going to Pittsburgh.
You gotta start listening to Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
Bro, like every interview, not every interview, but a good portion of the time where they talking about, oh, what are you gonna do next season, or not what are you gonna do next season. He just likes to talk about the Steelers and how good they look.
Just a little clip on Twitter of like him kind of winking at Mike Tomlin when they played a few weeks ago, right? Like.
We don't need that. And just you talking it, just bringing the energy out. Oh, God, that would be so sad.
How great would that be? Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh. He beat them in the Super Bowl.
I mean,
that offense, that would be
Deontay Johnson, who's one of the more up-and-coming wide receivers.
He's here. He's here.
He's here. He is amazing.
He's not up-and-coming. He's here.
Fair enough, man. I'm with you. I'm saying in terms of like bringing it into that next level tier of wide receivers.
Yeah, like mainstream.
He is up next for sure. And like you mentioned, he's here. 100%. He's made it known that he is that type of guy that is a difference maker. Obviously, you have Chase Claypool, who is a big playmaker as well. Juju Smith-Schuster, who knows if he's on the roster next season.
Freiermuth, I like.
Freiermuth, man.
Najee.
Najee's a freaking nature. And obviously, you put him with Aaron Rodgers, it's only going to open it up. And Najee is so intriguing because, you know what, some days he might not have it in the rushing game, but I'll tell you what, he will have an impact in the passing game. Some days he might not have it in the passing game, but 100% you can count on he'll have it in the running game.
Yeah, he's already had, a 14 reception game?
He is a freak in nature, one of the best Swiss Army knife running backs there is in the league, and obviously you pair that with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, as with the weapons that we already listed, they're stacked. The only issue is their offensive line. They need to address that. And I know if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't want to, I'm getting older. I'm about to be 37 years. He'd be 37 next season. Yeah. He's already playing with an O-line that's shaky, and obviously he's still having success because he's Rodgers, but I'm sure he doesn't want to go to a situation where his offensive line is worse than the one he's already in.
Much tougher division, too.
That's for sure. And I think that it's a tougher division, yes, but I still think that he would run that division. Given the fact that defense is as...
he comes in, takes over Baltimore just like that?
I think he could, man. I think he's Aaron...
Baltimore with healthy running backs next year?
But their defense... We'll see what happens with that defense, obviously. Yes, that's true. But people don't mention DK getting hurt. J.K. Dobbins getting hurt and Gus Edwards getting hurt as well. Those were huge blows for them. But you bring in Aaron Rodgers into the equation... Weirdly enough, the defense gets better.
Yeah. The Ravens, I feel like, are one of those teams that could take one season and just flip their defense around. Just the organization, coaches they have. Yeah. Like, I feel like it could take one off season. They could go from this bottom defense to top 10 next year. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, history has shown that they are that.
Yeah, that's a fact. And listen, their offense is obviously up and coming. Forget about Lamar and his ascension as a passing quarterback this season. Marquise Brown finally coming into his own. We see flashes of greatness in Rashad Bateman.
I think Rashad Bateman is going to be the wide receiver one in that team.
And I'm not going to say that you're wrong, truthfully, because instantaneously he's drawing as many targets as he is already early into his career. And that just speaks to, as easily as we were talking last year about how they don't have weapons, now this year we're talking about, wow, they're one of the more stacked weapon rooms in all of football.
They need to upgrade from Sammy Watkins, though.
I mean, but with Bateman,
they need a slot. I mean, he's not.
They don't really. I mean, as long as you got Hollywood, bro, that's fine.
Too.
I mean, Hollywood and Bateman are outside threats to me. I'm not saying they can't.
I think you put either in the slot.
I think if you get a true slot though, I think
James Crowder.
I think Crowder, he's okay.
Crowder would be crazy.
Crowder would be good. Yeah, Crowder would be a really good pickup.
Or Adam Humphries.
That would be another one. Humphries isn't bad.
He played
Washington. Yeah.
He's even hurt. Beasley.
He's missed a little bit of time, but Cole Beasley, I don't know if he leaves the Bills.
Actually, Rashad Bateman is lucky, man. That he
What are you gonna say, Elijah Moore
instead of Elijah? If Elijah Moore was there, you see Elijah Moore going crazy.
Because Elijah Moore had struggled early on in the season. Bateman missed time with an injury, came in and was immediate impact.
Yeah,
that's true. But
he's playing with Lamar.
Yeah,
Elijah Moore actually, like statistically, has.
He's been great.
He's been getting open a lot.
Yeah, he's like open all the time.
Especially against man coverage where he's been dusting them.
Yeah.
Has he been playing out of the slot for y'all or just outside?
They've been putting him everywhere.
That's lit.
Yeah.
That's really nice
Because
to
he
hear.
can do everything.
He can.
So
Ole Miss,
respect that,
man.
man.
Are they wide receiver you?
Yeah. Oh,
They
I
got.
mean, it's Bama, but yeah.
I mean,
LSU.
you're saying Bama's okay.
Bama's definitely wide receiver.
But Ole Miss
I
with.
don't know,
I mean,
bro. AJD.
I would say they have 3.
Yeah, true.
Bama and LSU.
Bama's got it
goes,
all. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
go
right.
years and years and years.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair, man. Bama does have it.
they do. Brandon
Bro, that's
LaFell.
great. Okay.
That's the one name you break up.
Why is he have like he could have named anyone, man? Julio.
Cooper.
Like, come on.
LSU though.
No, LSU.
Brandon LaFell.
Oh, but we're talking
Odell,
about
Jamar Chase.
Nah, you should. Brandon LaFell was actually their best receiver though.
Justin Jefferson.
In like the
Keyshawn
2000s.
Keyshawn
Clemson
Boutte
low-key,
up next.
too.
I think he played with
Yeah, is
Jamarcus. I think LaFell played with Jamarcus Russell.
Brandon
That makes
LaFell,
sense.
was he on the Patriots?
He was
at
and
one point.
The Bengals.
Definitely the
No.
Patriots.
I remember the Patriots specifically.
He was on the Panthers.
That might be what I'm thinking of. I could have swore he was on the Bengals. Maybe I'm thinking of another team. But look at us, thinking about Brandon LaFell. Like
That would make
he
sense.
was
bro,
on the
'cause
Bengals. All right, and he was on the Panthers.
I think he got drafted by the Panthers. Could be wrong.
Let's see. And he was drafted by the Carolina Panthers in the 3rd round, 78th overall.
Brandon LaFell.
He was mid. He
I was gonna say, he wasn't a great
He had
throw.
953 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. No surprise on New England, obviously.
He was really good there.
He was he might have been like the wide receiver one.
He was that year, for
2014,
sure.
they were trash.
Yeah.
Probably not trash because they're obviously New
They
England.
probably made the playoffs and won a
I
playoff.
think they made the Super Bowl that year.
But if he's not,
No, actually, I think
Bro.
they won with LaFell, bro. Check that.
no
Yeah,
way.
they did.
No, they won 2015. That was the Super Bowl that they won. They won 2015 because Broncos won in 2016, and I remember being bitter. 2014, excuse me. 2014, New England Patriots. Let's see.
And that's the only year he was on the Patriots?
Well, no, he was on them for 2 years.
So what year? 2014 and
So
what else?
2014, 2015, he was on them.
Okay.
But 2015, he had 515 yards. Not nearly as good as the
So did
953
the Patriots win the Super Bowl
with
in any of those 2 years?
2014, oh my God. So they were 12-4. Oh my God, I'm
Shocker.
so sorry. I'm so sorry, Patriots. I should have never doubted you. They went to the Super Bowl, and they won.
I knew it.
Seattle.
I knew he was on that team.
Bro,
Seattle.
what? But why do I remember? Maybe Brady just had one of those years because obviously I remember Edelman.
That was a Malcolm
Amendola was
Butler.
great,
That was a Malcolm Butler year.
Yeah.
but Gronk was also on that team as well. So Brady must have had.
Edelman.
You're gonna make me look up these stats because what?
I think Chris Hogan was there too.
What is
Was that the Chris Hogan year?
I don't think it was. I think
Chris
it was.
Hogan had that one year.
It was
where he great.
LaFell, Edelman, Gronk.
Okay, Brady borderline had a perfect year. He threw for 4,100 yards, 33 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. In the passing,
Who are they receiving?
Edelman, Danny Amendola,
Oh yeah,
Brandon
Amendola.
LaFell.
He was really good.
Wow, that is interesting, man.
About rushing.
Maybe Danny Woodhead.
Nah, rushing was
It was LeGarrette Blount.
Stephon. They went through a plethora, but LeGarrette Blount was there. Shane Vereen was there.
Shane Vereen.
Shane Vereen.
Stephen Ridley was on the squad.
Stephen
obviously.
Ridley. I
He
was
just some
telling you.
throwbacks,
He
bro.
came and went. James
Yeah.
White was on the squad.
It's probably young James White.
Yeah, definitely. Brandon Bolden was still on the squad
No
then.
way.
He's been a forever
I was
piece.
gonna say,
for
what's
them,
Brandon
bro.
Bolton, like 33?
Yeah, man. Interesting. Why don't they have receiving? Oh, they do have receiving. It's mixed in with the running backs. But the wide receivers that year, Gronk had 1,100 yards. Brandon LaFell really was 953. He was second for receivers because Edelman had 972. Amendola was hurt for a majority of the season. He came back just in the nick of time for the playoffs, and he had a great Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's crazy. LaFell really was their number 3 because Gronkowski had a great season, but
You called him mid.
I did.
You were sleeping
That's
on
on
him.
me.
Well, he had one great
I know.
year.
I said I thought the Patriots were mid because LaFell had great
Oh.
stats, and that was utterly wrong.
Yeah, it's just a very low probability the Patriots were bad at any point
Yeah,
for
real.
like 20 years.
That's on me. But jeez, Gronk went crazy. 11-24, 12 touchdowns.
LaFell was drafted by the Panthers, and let's just talk about the Panthers because Cam Newton is back. Cam Newton is back in Carolina.
exciting,
We didn't talk about it too much last episode because it was a basketball episode. They beat Arizona 34-10. They're now 5-5. Cam Newton had 22 total yards, 2 touchdowns, both in the first quarter. And I just feel like Cam has brought new life into the city, into the fan base. The energy of this team feels different. You saw the post-game press conference with Cam Newton and Robbie Anderson. and he's talking about he's making Moses references and talking about we're in the desert.
Yo, that was lit. That was lit, man. That was a great moment. A great clip.
And there was this reporter that asked Cam Newton this question. She was, I don't know if it was he or she, I forgot who it was, but they asked Cam Newton, how come he didn't come to the post-game press conference so dressed up like he usually is? And Cam Newton was like, you should have seen the fit before the game. And then he said, he was like, you didn't see the steez before the game. Man, check my mustard. And you just see Robbie laughing. And you could just tell, Cam Newton relates with these players. Sam Darnold just didn't relate with them. And that's not a knock on Sam, but Cam is just one of a kind, man. His personality is one of a kind. Talking about this game, though, P.J. Walker, 167 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 INT. I understand he had no touchdowns, but he led Carolina down the field. Yeah. And who would have known that to this point, Taylor Heineke is the better of the two XFL former quarterbacks. But he made some nice throws, and he made some not so nice ones. There were some that just boneheaded decisions, but P.J. Walker is a backup. There's no doubt Cam is starting, I think, this upcoming week. But it was the McCaffrey show. 13 carries, 95 yards, 10 receptions, 66 yards. I understand.
I hate him, man. He's so good.
I understand that the Panthers have to use McCaffrey. And I love it because he's on my fantasy team. But
it's the greatest fantasy player ever, by the way.
I feel like they force feed McCaffrey too much to the point that it actually makes him more prone to getting hurt.
McCaffrey got hurt in this game. Yeah, he came out for a series or two. I remember he went to the medical tent. I was like, oh, here we go again. Because
Carolina, you're right. Sorry to cut you off, but if Carolina was smart, they would limit his touches much more.
Because we were watching the game. Me and Drew were watching the game together, and it was like halftime. He had 18 touches, and I was like, bro, like what's going on? Like I understand you have McCaffrey, and he's he's out of this world good.
But when you have DJ Moore, Robbie, why do you have to give McCaffrey so much of the load?
Now I'm gonna sound like such a boomer, but at the same time,
man up.
I don't want to say man up, but we've seen people back in the day get an egregious amount of carries, and obviously these guys' body are in horrible condition, but they played through it, and they were amazing. CMC clearly has the talent, and obviously he can do it on both ends at an effective level. 13 for 95 is crazy, but at the same time, I need a little bit durability out of you. I get it. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, you have weapons for sure. They are not Christian McCaffrey. When McCaffrey was out, they were significant.
Moore is the top 10.
Enough. No,
10,
he is not.
10, not.
And McCaffrey is
he's
one.
good.
When healthy, he's
a
one.
great receiver.
There's no one that should
really
question
good.
it. That being said,
10, though,
there is no
top
one.
15.
There is no one.
Sure.
For sure is interesting.
He's a wide receiver 1.
He is a wide receiver 1.
Definitively.
Yes. Okay. What is that? Does that automatically make him top 10?
I mean, that makes him on the upper echelons of wide receivers.
Do me a favor while I finish my spiel. Look up the best receivers in the NFL. That being said, McCaffrey, when he was out, clearly they were impacted by his loss. He is what makes them go. He comes back and immediately their offense is improved. Obviously, the first week that he was back, they really didn't get anything going. McCaffrey was still McCaffrey. And then this week, clearly he's left his stamp on the game. You want to run the offense through him because clearly he's their best weapon. But I understand, obviously, it's going to take a toll on his body because clearly he's injury prone. But he's still the most effective, the most dangerous, the most versatile running back in the game. And if I'm a head coach, I'm still giving him the ball.
Yeah, nah, he's not top 10, bro. All right. Tyreek, Cooper Kupp, Jettas, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, Debo. That's 7.
Jamar,
that's 8.
I'm taking Marquise Brown over him.
Hollywood.
Hollywood is better than DJ Moore?
Yeah.
That's close.
It is close, but
that's debatable. We
I
can
think
keep
DJ
going.
Moore is better.
Terry McLaurin.
he's easily better.
Easily?
He's
Nah,
easily
bro,
better.
He's not easily.
Hopkins.
That's
Easily
that's
better.
just wild.
Okay,
bro.
we're 10 now. Hopkins 11.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson.
No.
Did you say AJ Brown?
Yes.
Deontay Johnson or DJ Moore?
Are you serious right now?
Oh, I mean, you said that Deontay Johnson's here.
That's
Yeah,
another
he's a
close
great
one.
receiver.
That
He's
is
not
close.
Chris Godwin.
Close. Wait.
Chris
hold
Godwin's
up. Wait, hold up. Deontay Johnson and DJ Moore is close?
Yeah, for
It is
sure.
close.
It's not close.
Look what DJ Moore's done this season.
DJ
really.
Moore is better, bro.
DJ
Bro,
Moore,
you're going
8
off you're going off 4 games this season.
What have you done
DJ
for
Moore's
me
really
lately?
been mid.
He hasn't had a quarterback.
Oh yeah, because Big Ben's elite.
He's better than fucking Darnold.
Yeah, bro.
Shit.
But
I guess, but at the same time, this guy Big Ben's not really chucking the ball. You want to know why he passes the ball? Because Deontay gets open
always,
all the time. Because he's a burner.
DJ
his
Moore's
route
open
running
all the time
is
too.
mint, but clearly it's not in the numbers.
Bro,
I'm not saying that he's not talented.
I'm gonna tell you this stat, and it's gonna blow your goddamn mind.
Here he goes.
Robbie Anderson had 37 yards.
Okay, this is not DJ Moore.
Okay, I know.
Most of the season.
Robbie Anderson had 37 yards this past game against Arizona. That was the most yards he's had since week 4, where he had 40 that week. Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore have clearly taken a step down in their production because of the quarterback play.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say about Big Ben, he's Big Ben.
I agree. It has nothing. I think they're probably equal. Like, I don't think DJ or Deontay are far better than the others.
We'll revisit this once Cam takes over.
Okay.
And we'll see the receiving numbers after that.
That's fine. I don't think Cam comes in and makes DJ Moore a top 10 receiver.
I guarantee you, Robbie and Moore, one of them are going to get 100 this next game.
Who do they play?
They face Washington.
Okay, that's a safe bet.
I was going to say.
That being said,
And then they face Miami. Next two is Washington, Miami.
DJ Moore, these last couple games. You know what? And I'll throw out his first couple games because this is obviously what's the standout. 113 against the Cowboys, 24 against the Cardinals, 80 against the Jets, 126 against the Texans, 79 against the Saints, 73 against the Giants. Here we go.
This is Deontay?
This is DJ Moore.
Oh, sorry.
Here we go. 42 yards, 32 yards, 59 yards, and 73 yards.
They're in very similar situations too. They both have elite running backs. They both have another receiver opposite
wondering,
and underrated and undervalued.
I'm just wondering why you
say.
think Deontay Johnson and DJ Moore are close.
Because
Deontay is a clean route runner.
Wait, are you just
hold
up. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about attributes because
well, that goes into
look at the stats.
Exactly.
Deontay's blowing him out of the water.
Route running, DJ Moore's a better route runner than Deontay.
For
one,
bro, Deontay is elite.
The issue with Deontay Johnson, first off, was his hands,
and
he's cleaned that up.
Okay, if you're gonna use this year's production as an end-all, be-all for this debate, then Hopkins is not top 10.
Go look at last season too. Deontay
Hopkins
was
banged up
serviceable too.
And Hop has a ton of touchdowns.
Okay, but DJ Moore,
Hopkins has what does he have? Like 7, 8
in 7 games.
Let's talk about it. For one, you want to talk about numbers this year? Deontay Johnson has 613 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Moore has 701 yards, 3 touchdowns in a down year. This is a down year for him.
We said it's close. You said it wasn't close.
It's not close. He's had Deontay's never had 1,000-yard receiving season. DJ Moore has had 2. He's gonna have one this year. He's gonna have 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. How is it close?
Deontay Johnson's first season as a rookie, his quarterback was Mason Rudolph.
Okay.
And Duck Hodges, correct?
That's him.
Second season, Ben has a messed up shoulder too, but still.
Second season was mostly drops. Let's keep it a buck.
For sure. And
let's keep it a buck.
How many yards did he have still?
He had 923.
So with the drop issue, with Big Ben still probably having arguably his worst season as a quarterback.
I feel like you guys are being disrespectful to DJ.
Also,
We're
DJ Moore's played 2 more games than Deontay has.
And Hollywood.
Take that into account.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I'll take that into account. But also, DJ Moore has had games where he's had 36 yards, 56 yards.
He's played.
Maybe yeah,
DJ Moore's had 24 yards, 32 yards, 42 yards. Like, I don't know, what's the issue here?
I just think you guys are being disrespectful to DJ Moore.
Listen,
DJ Moore's really good.
He's great.
No, DJ Moore's a great receiver.
He's great.
You can't put Deontay over DJ Moore right now.
He's on his level.
He's not on his level.
I can't agree with that.
He's not on his level.
I can't agree with that.
He's not on his level.
I'm not agreeing with that.
Yeah, bro. What's going on here? You're acting like DJ Moore is this incredible. Like, he's really good. Don't get me wrong. He has back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons.
He's arguably a top 10 receiver in the league.
I think we just went through 10 and we said, no, he's not.
He didn't give Hollywood. He didn't give Hollywood.
He did give Hollywood.
No, he did not.
Bro, should we go through it again?
Yeah, you could.
Okay,
please.
Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin. There's 10.
Mike Evans, did you mention?
I didn't mention Mike Evans. That's 11.
Antonio Brown.
I'm going to be honest. I don't.
CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper.
CeeDee Lamb is not better than DJ Moore right now, bro.
Okay. That's close, but that's close.
Hopkins.
Yep. Gotta.
Keenan.
Right now?
Keenan, you gotta.
Keenan and DJ Moore is really close, and I think I probably lean DJ right now. Right now? Yeah.
Michael Pittman.
DJ Moore's better, bro.
Pittman's a dog in this year.
I know Michael Pittman's doing great.
That's
I think we agreed Terry was better.
Yep.
It's 11.
I think it's close. I really think it's close.
Okay, but we're saying 10 without a doubt.
Terry and DJ Moore is close.
He's in that next
It
tier, though,
is.
bro. He's in that 11 to 20
How is it
range right
not?
there with Deontay.
Wait, how is it not?
I don't know, man. Terry is something different. Just look at what he's been playing with, and I'll give Heineke his credit, but it's not like McLaurin's been doing this year in, year out since he's come into the league.
So is DJ Moore, to be fair.
He has been for sure, but he's a touchdown threat every week, McLaurin.
So we're not going to give DJ Moore any benefit of the
I'm not.
doubt.
I am giving him a benefit.
2019, you know his quarterback for the most of the year was Kyle Allen.
Deontay had Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Kyle Allen, bro.
Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges.
Come on, bro.
Mason
basically
Rudolph
the
is
same
better
thing.
than Kyle Allen.
Bro, they both suck. Like, who cares?
Okay,
They
but
suck.
I'm just saying they both suck. So let's stop acting like DJ Moore has this perfect situation.
No
Bro.
one's
doesn't.
doing that. We're just saying it's close. You're
not,
saying it's not
between
close.
him and Deontay. It's not close right now, bro.
I disagree.
Can we
right
wait?
now, it's not close.
No, man.
No, you can say in the grand scheme of things, it's not close. And then I would probably see your side a little bit better. This season, it's definitely close. Deontay is borderline mint in terms of he hasn't really been dropping any balls this season.
You know
Yards
who leads the NFL in drops? It's Debo. He has 9 drops this season. I don't really care about drops personally. I think they're whatever because they could get fixed year after year. But Debo has 9 drops. Just because everyone cares about it. I know that's your boy too. But I think Deontay is just as good as DJ
Wait,
Moore.
do you think I'm knocking Deontay for his drops in the past?
No, I just brought it up because I know that was like one of the big things about Deontay last season.
That's a
was
fact.
his drops.
That's for sure.
I don't really care about drops either, to be honest. As long as you're producing, and Debo, he has 9 drops and
Exactly.
he's still elite.
Yep, fair.
He's
Oh,
still-
he's-
what?
yeah.
So
So
like,
is Deontay.
if Debo didn't have, look, Deontay is a really great receiver, and I'm not trying to knock him, but to put him on DJ Moore's level right now, he's just not DJ Moore right now.
You're just making it seem like DJ Moore's top 5 and Deontay's like the 20th best receiver.
No, I'm making it seem like
You make it seem like there's a big gap.
I'm making it seem like DJ's 11 and Deontay's more like 16, 17.
so like what separate? That's like 1 year of production separates that.
So if you're building a team and you need a number 1 wide receiver, you're taking Deontay Johnson over DJ
I'm
Moore.
actually going to take Deontay because of the speed.
Bro, I think they're neck and neck.
It is
like
really
I don't think
close.
one is significantly
It's
better
really,
than the
yeah.
other.
It's close. Listen, DJ Moore is great, but it's not like I'm really losing that much by going
Not
Deontay.
at all. Not at all.
I mean, they're both great receivers.
Yeah, they are.
Agreed.
But DJ Moore just a little bit better.
Okay, but so
You
now
can take a little bit better, bro, and you got it.
Yes,
You
we're
got
good
it.
now. Because the issue was that you're saying it's not close. That was the issue. But now if you're going to say a little bit better, hey, let's ease off.
Semantics, man.
Exact. Hey, that's what starts debates, truthfully.
I don't know. A little bit better.
You said
A
he
little
was
bit
top
better.
10.
Yeah,
A
that
little
was
bit
egregious
better.
also.
I think it's arguable he's top 10.
I don't think it
You
is
put
right now.
Hollywood Brown in your top 10.
Yeah, we didn't give
We
him.
didn't. That's the 3rd time we didn't. We didn't, bro.
Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. Before this season, was Cooper Kupp better than DJ Moore? Because this season, and Debo too, this season's really what separates.
That's a hard-hitting question.
This
the
is-
year before Cooper Kupp in 2019
the
was
year they went to the Super
phenomenal.
Bowl. He was
He
ridiculous.
had a down year last year because Jared Goff and the offense took a huge step
But he
back.
still had 900 yards.
Yeah, which is solid. And this year, obviously, he's going to break all the records probably.
Because the only reason we're putting Debo and even Kupp over DJ Moore is because of this season.
Agreed, as
So-
we should.
But that's what we're talking about right now.
Okay, DK, is he better than DJ Moore?
Yes.
I don't know. If
Again,
he
that's
is.
close, man. It's just we haven't seen vintage
I feel like
DK as much
DJ
as we
Moore
should.
is one of the more underrated receivers.
I agree.
And I think Deontay is too.
I agree with both of that.
The reason why Deontay is underrated is because he hasn't had an 1,000-yard season yet.
He'll get it this year.
No, he'll get it, but Deontay
He's
has
clean getting it.
Deontay Johnson has yet to establish himself as a great receiver.
He's doing it this season.
He's doing it this season, but DJ Moore established himself as an elite receiver in 2019.
But this guy's
in
also
2020.
He's in year 3 as well. And like I said, his rookie season, he had duck and he
Bro,
had,
in year 1, DJ Moore had 780 yards.
he was great.
Year 2, he had 1,175. Year 3, he had
was great his second
1,193.
year. Yep.
So, like,
He's been really good.
Yeah,
He
but
has been really
Deontay's
good.
not. His first year, he had just under 700 yards. Second year, 923.
And not
This year,
only
he's
that-
607 in 8 games.
and not only that, but in DJ Moore's rookie season, he had 788 yards receiving. He had 172 rushing as well.
Damn.
So he had 900 plus yards in total that year.
The one knock, DJ Moore doesn't score touchdowns.
That's his only issue.
Which is kind of like a non-sticky stat. Like that kind of changes year to year. But it's been 3 years in a row now. His rookie, you could kind of throw up, but back-to-back years where he's had, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns on the season.
He had 2 touchdowns last season. I'm almost
but even DJ Moore, you look at his quarterbacks he's been with. In 2018, Cam had a fairly healthy season. 2019, Kyle Allen. 2020, Teddy Bridgewater. He's a whatever guy. And then 2021, Sam Darnold and PJ Walker.
Well, he started the season fantastic.
On fire.
With Sam Darnold. Fantastic.
They faced a lot of
mediocrity, fair.
And McCaffrey
the
was
Texans, the Jets, and who else? I even forgot. Who else
Jaguars,
they faced.
maybe?
Listen, McCaffrey being
I don't
in
think
that
it was the
offense
Jaguars.
definitely benefits DJ Moore.
Oh, the Giants. They lost to the Giants, right?
Yeah, they did lose to the Giants. Panthers
Yeah,
lost
they
to the
did
Giants.
lose to the Giants. I forgot who they played. I think
Because
yeah,
they
I
started
forgot
off
who they
3-0.
Yeah, they did. It was the Jets and the Texans, and they beat somebody else. I forgot who it was. Wait, so hold up. Why? It's just weird to me, bro. Because you said he benefits from McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But Debo benefits from that offensive system too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Shanahan.
They don't have a McCaffrey, but they definitely have a way better running scheme than Carolina.
yeah. Elijah
no
Mitchell's
doubt.
had a really good year.
He has.
Yeah, and even before that, Raheem Mostert.
Yeah,
was
but
there.
think
Jeff
about
Wilson,
it like
they-
this.
they're
though.
always
Let's
good.
think about it like
And then
this.
even Cooper Kupp, Todd Gurley, and then they're always one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL.
But we're talking about Christian McCaffrey as opposed to Todd Gurley at the time, sure, but Darrell Henderson, who's clearly not. Look, we're just moving all over the place. What running back were we just talking about?
Curly McCaffrey.
No, McCaffrey, exactly. He's no McCaffrey. And so we can't look at it and just think, obviously, the Panthers don't have the best running back in football, that it's not going to benefit the rest of their moving parts. Because clearly, once McCaffrey went out, the offense was stagnant.
The reason why I'm not fully on board with that is because if you're taking points away from Moore, you got to take points away from AJ Brown.
I mean, he's still been relatively effective, even with Derrick Henry being out.
But Derrick Henry has rarely been out. This is the first
That's a
time he's
fact.
really been out.
That's a fact.
So since AJ Brown's gone to the league, AJ Brown has been more out than Derrick Henry.
But that's not really a knock on AJ Brown.
So how is that a knock on DJ Moore then? That's my question.
It's
to you.
not that big of a knock on DJ Moore. I'm just saying it definitely helps.
The offense just moves better as a whole with McCaffrey.
Yes.
Same thing with Derrick Henry.
No,
Same
that's
thing
true.
with Gurley.
The offense does move better. I'm not saying it because that's a collective though.
Yeah.
But when talking about an individual guy more as a receiver, I really don't know how McCaffrey is helping that too much of because I think
because
most of
McCaffrey's
that,
still a factor in the passing game also.
Yeah, but it's weird.
McCaffrey's arguably the best weapon in the passing game as well.
A corner's still going to be on Moore regardless.
For sure.
If a defense is scheming up for McCaffrey, the players that are going to be involved in that are the linebackers or a safety.
Yeah.
Maybe they bring down a safety. Even that is unlikely. Moore is still matched up against corner. It's not.
The corner will still play the flat sometimes and see if McCaffrey's going to come out.
That's
just different zones.
If that's a zone, though. If that's a zone.
But I'm sure you're playing a zone if you're playing against Carolina.
But if you play, I don't know about that. It depends. If you're playing a zone against Carolina, it's because
when McCaffrey's in.
If you're playing a zone against Carolina, it's because you don't trust your corners to go man to man with Robbie and DJ Moore. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most of it, when we talk, I just don't believe an individual player, no matter how great he is helping out these receivers that much. I think ultimately what helps them out the most is a scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback play, I would say.
Scheme, quarterback play, those are what's helping our receivers. For a running back to be that, I just don't think it's making much of a difference.
If it wasn't it's McCaffrey. That's the only reason why I back that.
Because I just wouldn't be like, this receiver, I have to discredit him somewhat. I know you didn't deal with a lot, but I would never say I got to discredit A.J. Brown because of Derrick Henry. I got to discredit Amari Cooper and CD because of Zeke, because of Pollard.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do that. That's why I don't think it's fair to do it to Moore.
What you're saying is completely sound and fair. I just think McCaffrey's at a different tier. The fact that not only is he effective in the run game, because he's just as good in the pass game, that's why I feel like that has a little bit more impact on DJ Moore.
So let me ask you. Mike Thomas.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas when he had the most receptions ever.
It definitely helped that Alvin Kamara was there.
You think so?
He's same scenario. I mean, as good as Alvin Kamara is between the tackles, outside the tackles.
Why is it not? Why is it not? I think
it helps. I'm not saying that it's because of Alvin Kamara he's allowed to have the success.
I actually think it's the other way around. I think receivers help out running backs more because if a receiver is great, you have to keep a safety over the top. If he's a runner, you got to keep a safety. You can't flood the box because you have to account for these receivers.
I agree
this is
with
like the Chiefs debate.
I was going to say exactly. I agree with that sentiment to a degree. It just depends on the talent that you have behind in the backfield. If it wasn't a Kamara, if it wasn't a CMC, I'm with you 100%. Obviously, Darrell Henderson benefits from playing with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. But at the same time, you look at CMC, and CMC is just at a whole different tier. Kamara, a whole different tier. Dalvin Cook, a whole different tier. Obviously, Jettas is like that, and Adam Thielen is like that. But he definitely helps the rest of those guys succeed.
I'm not saying he doesn't help them succeed. But I'm not going to discredit them.
No, I'm not discrediting them as much as I'm just giving the running back a little bit more credit to.
So you
think their name.
You think McCaffrey, him being on the field, holds more weight to the success of Moore and Robbie than
100%
than Derrick Henry does to Brown and when they had Corey Davis.
Essentially just the same.
Yeah.
Essentially just the same.
And you're not discrediting A.J. Brown.
I'm not really discrediting either of those guys. I'm saying they get increased work or they see better looks because of the dominant force that they have in the backfield. It's an advantage. It's clear as day. You have Derrick Henry. 9 out of 10 times a defense is scheming for Derrick Henry as they're not scheming for A.J. Brown. You're playing against Carolina. You're scheming for Christian McCaffrey. You're not scheming for DJ Moore as good as he is.
But I think that teams are much more worried about Derrick Henry than CMC.
Disagree with that.
Running definitely 100%.
Yeah. Fair, obviously, because Derrick Henry is the best pure runner we've ever seen.
McCaffrey he's not the best at running in between the tackles.
He's damn good, exactly, and he's
not Henry.
He's not Henry, but
no,
Henry's
I mean, we're talking
Henry
exactly.
Ever, bro.
He's the best. He's the best pure runner in the NFL. No one should question it. That's easy. Number one, stamped and sealed. McCaffrey, though, in terms of taking both into effect, he's clearly the best. When healthy, he's clearly the best. It's not close. 1,000 and 1,000. Have we ever seen that outside of McCaffrey? That's insane. I got goosebumps. That's insane.
No, he's insane, but I just don't think that's like, because McCaffrey's here more.
He's a game changer.
He's a game changer for the offense. He's not a game changer for DJ Moore, though.
He definitely helps.
DJ Moore still got to beat his corner.
I'm with you, but it's 9 out of 10 times it's a one-on-one, and obviously DJ Moore's good enough to win those one-on-ones.
Most receivers are good enough, though.
But DJ Moore is he's a level above the rest.
When do we ever see a receiver getting bracketed?
In terms of like double, triple team or straight up locked up?
Just double team.
Well, obviously Devontae Adams week in, week out gets double team. DeAndre Hopkins week in, week out gets double team.
But bracketed, I don't know. Versus the Chiefs versus Packers game, Devontae was one-on-one a lot.
Hey,
Jordan Love was in at QB. Yeah.
But 7. I mean, he still had a decent game but
you're talking about Devontae. He wasn't bracketed.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Those are the Chiefs' corners, which aren't very good, and he wasn't bracketed. Receivers often, regardless of how good the running game is, that affects the inside, and that affects the linebackers.
I feel like in that scenario specifically, and I'm sorry to cut you off, King, but I feel like in that scenario specifically, you got a rookie quarterback making his first start in the league. You want to pressure him.
Yeah, and you're focused on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
At that point, because it's 100%. Yeah. You're thinking that the game plan is, all right, this guy's new to the system. Obviously, he's the new quarterback making his first start. They're going to rely on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon to make some plays for them. So we're going to take the chance on the deep throw with Devontae Adams. If it gets us, it gets us. Obviously, he's Devontae. You can only stop him so much. But we're going to stop this run game, and we're going to make him feel some pressure. And that's exactly what they did, and the game plan was perfect.
They definitely did hone in on the run, but isn't that what teams do with Sam Darnold all the time?
Yes, but it doesn't stop CMC from having success. When CMC's there, Sam Darnold looks significantly better. That's
because he's checking down. But
that's what the luxury is of McCaffrey.
But even then, when CMC is there, is Sam Darnold looking significantly better because CMC is there, or is he looking significantly better because to begin the season he played crap teams? Versus the Patriots, CMC was there. Yeah. How did Sam look?
Yeah, trash.
He looked like the worst quarterback in the league. Yeah. So we saw when Sam Darnold faced good teams, even if CMC was there, he still sucked.
Well, CMC and him played one game after he came back because obviously that was against New England. That was McCaffrey's first game back, and that was a rough matchup for them.
And the first 3 games where he got injured against Houston.
But they were eating with when McCaffrey was there. It was crazy to watch.
I know that's true. But Houston,
as you watch the game, you see obviously CMC's in the game. They're dominant. They cannot be stopped. He has the hamstring injury. Offense halts completely.
Yep.
Completely. And that's all you really need to know in terms of the impact McCaffrey has.
And
that was against the Texans.
It's all I need to know in terms of how much Joe Brady is one-dimensional on offense.
Which is fair.
How much he relies solely on CMC to carry the offensive load.
You have Sam Darnold too. Like, what is he really supposed to?
Bro, CMC.
But Joe Brady showed this last year too, bro.
But it's CMC ultimately. Can you blame him?
But Teddy Bridgewater, even though Teddy Bridgewater's not Sam. I know Teddy Bridgewater's not a groundbreaking quarterback.
That's
but
fair.
He's not Sam.
He's not making as
more
many
than
mistakes.
serviceable.
You look at what Sean Payton's doing with Trevor Siemian, bro. You know
we're talking Sean Payton and Joe Brady. It's different.
I know, but Joe Brady got praised as the next Sean McVay.
I know, but people are stupid.
You wanted him as the Jets head coach.
He was in consideration. I wouldn't mind him. I'd much rather have Sean Payton. Like,
I know, but right now, Joe Brady, Carolina Panthers fan base, they hate Joe Brady because he has one of the more predictable offenses in the NFL. Imagine if DJ Moore's in a system where he's in a pass friendly system.
I mean, DJ Moore still gets 10 targets a game. 8, 9, 10 targets. Some games 13 targets. Like, it's not like he doesn't get looks.
Like you said, he's clearly the wide receiver one.
Yeah, Robbie's
for sure. But he's not the focal point. And it's not anything discrediting DJ Moore.
I was going to say, there's very few receivers that are the focal point of the offense. You got
Devontae, exactly.
Debo.
DeAndre. Yep, Debo. Tyreek Hill. Is Tyreek Hill the focal point? Probably because of the overtop plays. But you still got
right there.
Exactly.
No, Hill is definitely the focal point.
Who?
Hill. He's saying
Hill
Tyreek, which makes sense because obviously you played the 2 over the top because of Tyreek Hill's ability to.
Yeah, like we're talking about the best of the best of the best.
The Chiefs' struggles all have to do with teams taking away Tyreek.
Yeah, I agree.
He's definitely the focal point there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just saying that I just don't think, DJ Moore, these receivers, they still got to beat their guys, bro.
And DJ Moore's good enough to do exactly. DJ Moore does his job.
I'm just saying, this is my final point.
Here we go.
We spent all this time talking about CMC's impact as a runner and why that's making DJ Moore's life
and
easier.
A passer and a pass catching.
Yes, but that's
the main thing.
With the pass catching, it's not going to affect the receiver because you're just going to have a linebacker on.
Well, the play action's dangerous because clearly, obviously, you got to consider.
Well, the play action's dangerous for anything. I'm just saying that
McCaffrey.
Everybody knows a great player. Having more great players takes the load off of other great players. That's universal.
Yep.
But why is that only brought up with DJ Moore? Why don't you bring that up with CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper? Why don't you bring that up with Jamar Chase when he has Joe Mixon? Why don't you bring up
Joe Mixon really never took that leap that obviously
why don't you bring that up with AJ Brown when he's with Derrick Henry?
And I'll give you that.
So that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna say that about DJ Moore, I want you to say that about every receiver that's playing with a top running back in the NFL.
And I will say that.
I want you to say Jettas might not be top 10 because Dalvin Cook is making things easier for him.
It's different because Jettas has the touchdowns on top of the yards.
I mean, last year, Teddy Bridgewater, the Panthers were one of the worst red zone offenses. And that's what I'm saying about Joe Brady. It's
they didn't have CMC.
True.
Joe Brady, the reason why the red zone offense sucks, Teddy Bridgewater even said in the offseason, we didn't even practice red zone offense.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And that's why.
To say that in public is crazy.
And
probably after he was gone.
And that's why they sucked in the red zone. Joe Brady, to me, he's not a good offensive play caller in the red zone in that area. I'm not blaming DJ Moore for that. And touchdowns, we know some of them come from over the top plays, but a lot of them is when you're in the red zone. So
he's a smaller type guy. He's not really a touchdown type receiver, truthfully. Maybe maybe the scheme gets different. Obviously, they start having him in motion, and that gets some more touchdowns.
Which they do, though.
Yeah, no, and that's a fact.
He's definitely utilized.
And they'll be just to end it all, McCaffrey makes that team go round, and that's just a firm fact.
And Deontay and DJ Moore are the same level. All right, moving on.
Hell no. Okay. Jalen Hurts. He's someone who, the Eagles franchise moved on from Carson Wentz, and they kind of figured that, you know what? Jalen Hurts is just a filler, and we're going to get a quarterback after this year. There's already rumors that they're going to be heavy in the quarterback market. But Hurts has been playing well. You know, versus the Broncos, threw for 178, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, had 14 carries, 53 yards, and on the season, he has close to 2,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, on top of 549 yards rushing with 5 touchdowns.
Dude's been a beast.
Do you think Jalen Hurts is the Eagles' franchise quarterback?
Listen, it doesn't. I've been on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon since last year, since Carson Wentz was doing terrible. I remember that Monday Night Football game against Seattle. I was like, bro, Jalen Hurts has to get some burn here because Wentz was playing so poorly. Yeah, I think he could definitely be the franchise quarterback. I think what you're looking for in today's NFL is someone, obviously, pocket passing is still the most important, right? You need to be able to make passes from the pocket. We've talked about that with Lamar the last couple of seasons. He's finally improved there. But being able to be mobile, not only mobile, but he's an elite runner at the quarterback position, right? Having 500-plus yards. And I think he's really good on the run, too. I think he has a plus arm. Does he have a top 5 arm in the league? No. But I think he has a plus arm. He's able to make just about every throw on the football field. And he's being very impressive. You look at this Eagles offense, like Devonta Smith, him and Hurts are finally connecting now. But, bro, you got Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott. Like, this offense is not good by any means.
Yeah. Come on, nah. I'm not going to let you get away with that.
What? Okay, what?
This offense is good.
Oh, Lord.
Bro, the weapons?
Nick Sirianni does a great job scheming things up.
Yeah,
but
sure,
the weapons is not there.
The weapons are
it's
bottom
It's
7 in
Devonta
the
Smith.
league.
Jalen Reagor's been hurt. He's obviously shown something.
We're talking Quez Watkins, bro.
man.
Quez Watkins was actually hot to start off the season, though.
It's Quez Watkins.
Yeah.
He's the wide receiver 5 on most teams.
And the running, yeah, no doubt. But in the running backs, put some respect on the running backs' names.
They've been solid.
I know they're not household names, but they have all been having tremendous impact.
But what I'm saying is Jalen Hurts is doing this, and you look about just pure talent-wise around him, it's probably bottom 10 in the league.
And then you have a top offensive line, too, though.
The offensive line has been strong. Yeah, I agree.
And that helps that running game.
I was going to say, but it also helps that he's able to scramble outside the pocket. Makes that line look a lot better.
I'm not discrediting him, but let's not act like he's working with Deshaun Watson level Houston Texans weapons. He's not.
But they're not great.
That's not Hopkins.
They're not great. Are they great?
They have a lot of good playmakers on this team.
Devonta Smith has broken out these last couple weeks.
I'm just saying, let's not act like Kurtz is carrying this offense. He's not carrying the offense.
I'll tell you what, bro. You have Carson Wentz running this offense. It's a disaster.
No, it's not.
Bro, we saw it last year. What do you mean?
How was it last year? Doug Peterson was there last year. It's not even the same scheme.
But it's the same. It's mostly the same weapons outside Devonta Smith, and the offense was terrible.
Is Devonta Smith not a game changer?
He's really good, but he's a rookie. And outside these last 2 weeks, he's been average. He's gonna be really good. Don't get me wrong.
That throw that Hurts threw to Devonta Smith, that was a good throw. That was an even better catch, though.
100%. I'm not. Listen, Devonta Smith is top 15, top 10 potential.
Jalen Hurts against the Broncos got picked off by Justin Simmons. What was supposed to get picked off by Patrick Surtain in that game, later on in that game, but he just dropped it. So let's not act like he's carrying this offense. Nick Sirianni has done a great job scheming things up for him.
Sirianni's been really good, but I think Jalen Hurts, his ability to move out of the pocket and be mobile is what's really helping this offense. And as a rusher, you don't just have 500 yards that changes the offense.
It's helping the offense, but I'm just saying he's not carrying the offense.
I don't think there's many quarterbacks, at least the past quarterbacks like a Carson Wentz or Nick Foles, they're not doing this offense.
I think you're being a little bit critical on Carson Wentz, obviously.
He was bad last year.
But he was pressing. It was a lot of him playing superhero ball.
What about this year? He's been good.
He's been great. He's been great. That's why I say you got to give him some benefit. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He hasn't been great.
This season, he's been borderline great.
I don't know about that, bro.
He's been
borderline 5-4, 4-5.
Like, they have a bad schedule
to start.
They did have a tough schedule. But obviously, we're seeing JT be JT, and obviously that's.
But the question is Hurts a franchise quarterback?
He's saying yeah. I mean,
and not only on the ground, but through the air, he has 31 passes of 20-plus yards. That's just behind Josh Allen, who has 33, who everyone's in love with. And if we start a redraft today, Josh Allen be a top 3 pick. Everyone's madly in love with this guy, and Jalen Hurts is being just as good as him in terms of big plays. 20-plus yards, he has 31, and Josh Allen has 33. I don't know what the chuckle's for.
Because it's just Josh Allen, Hurts, they're not in the same conversation.
No, they're not. But I'm just talking about.
I understand his point.
Talking about as a passer, everyone disrespects Hurts, thinking he can't make the plays downfield.
You just made it sound like we hold Josh Allen to this great regard, and he's this poster boy.
We do.
And it seems like you're upset that we don't do the same for Jalen Hurts.
I'm just saying, I think he has a plus arm, and I think a lot of people don't. I don't think he has the strongest arm, but I think he can make damn near every throw on the football field, and he has a lot of velocity behind his ball
every
too.
Throw? I don't know. But he has a good enough arm. I agree with you on that.
And he's
been
only
terrific.
He's only in his second year.
What's he at? 10 games starting?
But with those big time
14
plays,
games.
I just want to ask you, with those big time plays, do you know if that's air yards or that's just yards?
I'm not sure.
Because
I want to say it's just yards.
Because if it's just yards, it could be a 10-yard pass that gets taken for 30 yards.
Word, yeah, because Quez Watkins is doing that every week.
They scheme up a lot of great stuff, bro.
I do. I think Sirianni's been really good this year.
We've seen Jalen Hurts have a few on the money deep
and
ball
he's been
throws.
he's been damn near perfect in the red zone. He has 15 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks, 114 passer rating. Him and Devonta spent the last 2 weeks, 9 receptions on 12 targets, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, is 156 passer rating. He joins Kyler, Lamar, and RG3 as the only quarterbacks with 2,000 passing yards, 500 rushing, and 5 touchdowns in the team's first 10 games. He's been really, really good. And you look at this quarterback class, there's not a single quarterback who's an upgrade over Jalen Hurts. Not Matt Corral, not Slovis, not Pickett, none of these guys. So I don't know why, if the Eagles, who are potentially 3 first-round picks, you can't take a quarterback. You have those 3 first-round picks to build up either offensive line. There's a lot of good wide receivers in this class, or even attack the defensive side of the ball because they need help there too. But yes, I think Jalen Hurts could definitely be the franchise quarterback because he's the quarterback that the NFL is looking for, and that's who they want, a mobile guy who can make throws.
Go ahead, man.
I haven't scouted the quarterback class yet, so I really don't have an opinion on that.
It's whatever.
I'll see when I get there.
Like this, Joel. You're good.
I think Jalen Hurts has been really good. I think he's been really solid for the Eagles. You know, in terms of PFF loves him. He's the 11th ranked quarterback according to PFF. He's 19th in QBR. I guess what I'm saying is that Jalen Hurts, is he capable of being a franchise quarterback? He's definitely capable of it. But is he really? Can he be one? Is Jalen Hurts going to be a franchise quarterback? That's the real question. I just don't see it. I think he'll be a very good quarterback. And I'm not saying Philly should move off from Jalen Hurts. They shouldn't. Because, one, there's no quarterback in free agency in this draft that warrants them moving off from Jalen Hurts. I said this before the draft, and I'll say this again. Jalen Hurts, to me, is Tyrod Taylor. And people hear Tyrod Taylor's name, and they go insane. They say, oh, don't compare Hurts to Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's average. Tyrod Taylor, 2015, when he finally got a shot to be a starting quarterback, when he finally got a shot to be a starting quarterback in Buffalo, made the Pro Bowl, rushed for 568 yards, had 4 touchdowns, threw for 3,000 yards, had 20 touchdowns passing, and to 6 interceptions. He was a very efficient quarterback. Very next year, he led them to the playoffs, by the way, too. First time that happened, they were in the drought before that. Then 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions the very next season, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions the very next season. Tyrod Taylor was a very efficient quarterback, and we saw what he did for the Houston Texans early on in the season. They looked like a completely different team when Tyrod Taylor was out there. I think Jalen Hurts is Tyrod Taylor. He's a quarterback that he's good. He's a starter. He can get you wins. He can be a focal point in your success. There's no doubt. But do I view Jalen Hurts and I say, this guy's changing the game? Is he a top 10 quarterback? Do I see Hurts becoming a top 10 quarterback? No. You know, before the season, I said he can easily be a top 18 quarterback this year. And I think this year he's been that. I see Hurts being no more than a top 15 quarterback. And I think he'll be in the tier of 11.
Kirk Cousins tier?
Maybe. I think Kirk Cousins is way better than Hurts though.
I think so too, but
because I remember we had this debate a few weeks ago and we said Cousins 11, 12.
I think Hurts is gonna at his peak though, because Cousins is at his peak.
Yeah.
At Hurts' peak, he's gonna be anywhere from 11 to 18 on a year-to-year basis.
I feel like Hurts' trajectory is hard to judge for the long term because of his rushing ability. His passing abilities, I have my worries about it because early in the season we see him miss a couple throws.
They're 25th in passing this year.
It's 62 completion percentage, which is not the greatest. I think it ranks around 18, 19. Excuse me, I think it's in the 20s, truthfully, and amongst quarterbacks. But his rushing ability is great, and it's obviously opened up a lot for the Eagles' offense right now in terms of total points scored. They're number 11th in the NFL In yards, I want to say they're around middle of the pack, but defensively, they're around middle of the pack also. So, I mean, scoring points is arguably the hardest aspect of football, and Jalen Hurts is putting his team in position to score. He's accounted for 18 total touchdowns this season. Being a franchise quarterback is a question for me because I don't fully trust his arm. He has some great moments throwing the football for sure, but I feel like it takes him too long in a game to get going. I feel like a lot of his time, especially early in the season, a lot of his stats were accounted for in the fourth quarter. So that's why I have my worries about Jalen Hurts, but I do like the connection that we've seen over the last couple of weeks with Devonta Smith. We haven't really seen Goddard and him really get going on a consistent basis, but it's still been there a few times during the season. I want to see Miles Sanders come back and him build a rapport with Jalen Hurts as well. We already see the connection immediately with Boston Scott and Jordan Howard in the backfield. We even saw a little bit with Kenny Gainwell before Miles Sanders went out. When Miles Sanders was healthy, Kenny Gainwell was one of his favorite targets. Now that Miles Sanders came out, they really put Kenny Gainwell on the back burner. We're seeing the Boston Scott, Jordan Howard show. So he has played very well up until this point in the season. I just think for the long term, my question remains in his arm. I mean, is he going to – he's only in year 2, so really in year one. Essentially in year 1. And so I really can't be too critical of him because, let's be honest, like you mentioned, again, not comparing him to Josh Allen. Josh Allen is amongst the best quarterbacks in the league. His first 2 seasons, he was dead last in completion percentage.
Terrible.
He was really bad. But he makes up for it with his legs. And it's not like his arm is terrible. It's definitely not terrible. It could be better. And I think he will get better. But the fact that he has the running abilities that he has, it allows the Eagles to at least be a little bit more comfortable in thinking, all right, we don't have to immediately address this. He's in year 1, he's doing this, and we're not horrific. People thought we were going to be horrific, and they're definitely not. They're 4-6, respectable, with wins against solid teams. A loss against the Chargers last week that was extremely close. I have the schedule right here. They smacked the Lions. I thought that game was going to be close. This was really the telling game of if the Eagles were ass or not. And they smoked the Lions. Against the Buccaneers, it was a close game. They beat the Panthers, and they came back against the Panthers. Shows that they're gritty. Obviously, they're not a team that's going to quit because that's what Jalen Hurts is. He's a gamer for sure. I just think that a loss to the Niners, 17-11. They could score a little bit more points there. Obviously, San Fran's defense isn't the greatest. But ultimately, he's played well enough, and he's made them more respectable than what people initially thought that they were going to be.
I'll say one thing. I'll say that Jalen Hurts has been good, and there's no doubt about that this season. Whether or not he's the reason that Philly is respectable, I'm hesitant on. Because before the season, I thought Philly was going to be a good team. I didn't understand all the talk about them winning 3-4 games on a year because this was a roster that has a top 10 defensive line, has a top 10 offensive line. Their corners got better. Darius Slay is playing. He's playing like an elite corner.
Yep.
They signed Anthony Harris. Like, I thought this team, yeah, they're gonna win around 7 to 8 games. I said like 7 to 9. They're gonna win around that. I don't know if that's all because of Jalen Hurts. I think him not being a totally garbage quarterback has helped that. But I don't know. I'll say this. Jalen Hurts, I think he has Dak Prescott level leadership and intangibles.
He's a great leader. Yeah,
I think Jalen Hurts, what he doesn't have in talent, he makes up for leadership, moxie, and intangibles. That's why I think that the Eagles would be making a grave mistake if they move off of Jalen Hurts for Matt Corral or one of these quarterbacks. And granted, I haven't watched these quarterbacks yet, so I'm just speaking off the assumption because I know the word out there is that this quarterback draft isn't that good. Jalen Hurts is capable of winning games. He's capable of taking the team to the playoffs. Maybe not carrying them, but he can be your starting quarterback, and he can win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Hurts is. I already said it. To me, he's Tyrod Taylor. And I think Tyrod Taylor has been a severely, criminally underrated quarterback for the past like 7 years.
Yeah, the issue with Tyrod, though, is he had a very small window of starting. You know, he had a couple years on Buffalo, then he went to the Chargers, always start, and then obviously the doctor.
He just never got a chance. After Buffalo, he didn't get a chance in Cleveland.
Yep.
With the Chargers, he didn't get a chance. So, like, you know, when Tyrod has gotten a chance, he's made the most of that chance.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jalen Hurts definitely, like, I don't think he's ever going to be a top, like, 8 quarterback in the league, but I think he has that to be, like, borderline, you know, like a really good quarterback. Like, I think Kirk Cousins is much in his range of outcomes.
Like, was Andy Dalton ever a top 10 quarterback in his career?
No.
And he was a franchise guy.
He
He have top 10 seasons.
He had a couple top 10 seasons, though, for a quarterback for sure. He made the Pro Bowl multiple times.
Yeah, he did.
Pro Bowls are so kind of iffy.
Was he ever a
sometimes.
top
Like Mitch
10
was a Pro
quarterback
Bowler?
clean?
Probably not.
I think
Probably not.
production-wise, yeah. But if you're going to take him over 10 quarterbacks, like, you never saw Andy Dalton and said, you're taking him over 10 quarterbacks. But definitely on a year-to-year basis in Cincinnati,
He put up the numbers.
the production was better than 10 quarterbacks. You know, it was in that top 10 quarterback range. You know, and that used to be a debate whether or not Andy Dalton is a franchise guy or just regular.
And he definitely was a franchise guy. He definitely was. So I don't see why Jalen Hurts, who obviously is as impactful as he is in the run game, 500 yards for a quarterback is absolutely bonkers.
Halfway through the season.
Lamar makes it look normal, but it's definitely not normal. So to do this partner that with 5 touchdowns as well, you got to give him his credit.
And 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. They could really. You're much higher on Quez Watkins, Jordan Howard, and co. than I am, but you go out, get a Drake London, Treylon Burks. You know,
You're taking Drake London with a first-round pick?
He's gonna be a first-round pick. Yeah, for sure.
With the injury?
Yeah, because it's not like an Achilles or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm taking Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson's a stud too. I think the wide receiver 1 debate's up in the air. There's a few different guys, but
Chris Olave or Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not that high on Olave.
I thought, last year when I saw Justin Fields tape, I was like, Garrett Wilson's better than Chris Olave.
Yeah, he's having a better year. Honestly, Olave might be the wide receiver 3 on that team. There's another kid. I can't remember his name. He has like a hyphen last name. But I think he's putting up better numbers than Olave is right now.
Yeah, Garrett
Olave's
Wilson.
a senior.
Garrett Wilson to me stood out. So
Stud.
I'm really looking forward to him coming in the league. He really stood out to me. So on to NFL Pick'em Week 11. We can make this one quick. Patriots versus Falcons. I got the Pats. Ravens versus Bears.
Ravens, my squad.
Whew, gonna be a good game.
What?
I think the Ravens win though. Hey, listen, we can't count out Jalen Hurts. We can't count out Justin Fields.
I'm excited.
I'm going Ravens. Yeah, it should be a good game though. At Chicago.
Packers versus Vikings.
We
This
already
is your
spoke
upset.
on this one. Yeah, I'm going Pack as long as Rodgers plays. If Love plays, Vikings.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a game the Vikings can win though at home, but they just had so many rough losses this year. I think the Packers have their number.
Got the Vikings all day. Colts versus Bills.
I'm going Colts. Truthfully, I think that JT's gonna have a good game. There's gonna be the first team that the Bills play outside of Derrick Henry, and they feel the run.
Yeah, I think the Bills coming off a huge win against the Jets, they kind of want to show everyone, like, listen, I know we lost to Jacksonville. We could beat the Jets. We could beat the best teams in the AFC. They're going to handle the Colts.
I got the Bills. Lions versus Browns.
This is the game the Browns should definitely win.
If they lose this game, man, Baker's done. He is already in the doghouse for sure. He loses this one.
Chubb is back.
He's done. Chubb could go for 150 if he's back.
Yeah.
So I'm going Browns.
Pretty sure
I got the Browns. Washington versus Panthers.
Oof. Cam Newton's first game, Washington, just coming off a big win.
Was Ron Rivera the one that benched him? Yes.
He didn't bench
He got
him.
hurt, right?
Yeah, he got hurt.
He got hurt, was healthy enough to come back, and they rode with Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
That's Kyle Allen went like 5-0.
Yeah, it's still criminal.
This is going to be a good game. I think, who's Carolina's home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Cam's first game against Ron Rivera, he'll get the dub.
Go ahead, man.
I got the Panthers.
I'm going Panthers.
Texans versus Titans.
Titans.
49ers versus Jaguars.
Niners.
Whew, gonna be another good
Elijah
game.
Mitchell might miss this game. He has a
I got
broken
the
finger.
Niners in
I
this one.
did see that.
But
Man, I shouldn't be thinking on this one as much as I am.
You shouldn't.
I shouldn't be.
who did the Jaguars play last week?
I think they look like
The
trash
Colts.
too. Yeah, they only lost by 6. It is a division game. I'm gonna go Jaguars, man.
Okay.
I am. I
Dolphins
think they do it.
versus Jets.
I'm going to the game Sunday. I'm going to watch my boy Tua light it up.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there's no reason that the Dolphins should lose this game with Joe Flacco at quarterback.
I'm be sitting in the box too, all cozy, all warm, in my orange Tua jersey.
You know what? If Joe Flacco has a big game, you got to apologize, bro.
Bro, Joe Flacco, I don't care if he has a big game.
I got the Dolphins in this one. Saints versus Eagles. I got the Eagles.
Another good game, man.
This is in Philly.
Yeah.
I love Jalen Hurts, but this Saints defense has
it's been spooky.
really, really
Especially
good.
Actually, you know what? They're one of the best teams against the run.
Yeah, they've been phenomenal.
I think they get the win, though. I got the Eagles.
I'll take the Saints.
I'm going to take the Saints, too. I mean, Lattimore playing on Devonta Smith is going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Lattimore is lock up against primetime receivers. Doesn't matter the size. He's amazing. So it'll be interesting to see.
Boss of the week.
Unbelievable.
I'm changing my pick, Saints.
All right, I'll allow it.
We're all in the Saints?
Yeah.
Oh, the Eagles are going to win.
Bengals versus Raiders.
I'll be stunned if the Bengals lose this one. They absolutely need this game.
Yeah, listen, you can make the same argument for the Raiders.
True.
It's a very tight race in the AFC West.
True.
I think coming off an embarrassing loss against KC, Derek Carr bounces back.
I'll tell you what, if Bengals lose this game, completely out on them rest of the season. They need this game. I understand they're away. You got to win this one.
I got the Bengals. Cowboys versus Chiefs.
Game of the week. I'm taking KC. I'm back in, bro. I think Dallas is obviously one of the best teams in the league. I think KC gets their mojo back a little bit from that Raiders win. Goes on a little run.
You already know I'm riding with the boys.
I know.
Ezekiel's going to run crazy. It'll be awesome to see.
I got the Chiefs. Cardinals versus Seahawks.
Cards.
Yeah, Russ isn't right.
Need Kyler to come back,
right.
though. Kyler's got to come back.
I think he practiced today.
Yeah, he is, but
he said he's ready to come back.
Yeah.
He said he's close to ready, I saw.
I'm hopeful. I want him to play terribly.
Pittsburgh versus the Chargers.
This is the Sunday night game?
Yeah.
It's in L.A.?
In L.A.
Oh, I'll take the Chargers. They need this.
It'll be tough. But, man.
The AFC West, bro, every team's like, we need to win every game.
I know, and it's a question mark every single week. I'm going to actually go Steelers. I think the Steelers win this game.
I got the Chargers in this one, and now Giants versus Bucs. I got the Bucs.
Yep, by 100.
Yeah, I'm going to the Bucs too.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 130. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. Thank you for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.